listening to the Hot Seed Podcast.
The Hot Seed.
Welcome all. Of course, I am your co-host, Shawn, along with my co-host, Eric.
He is I, and I am him. Slim with the tilted brim. What's my
Earl.
Yo,
Yeah.
And Dave.
Yes, sir.
And you know what it is, man. We just dads with mics, gamers with headsets, and a whole lot of unfiltered conversation. And as always, if you haven't already, make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook at the Hot Seed Podcast. And listen, like, rate, review, share, and most importantly, enjoy on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Welcome back. We've been away just for a little bit, all so we can warm up and get ready for this epic episode. So now we can do it because we're no longer leading to it. We are at the
Big 100.
This is our official 100th podcast episode. It's been an amazing 2 years. One time for the guys out there. Gentlemen, September 2020. We started on this, we was at home. You know, the quarantine was going down. You know, we was all locked in the house. You know, the skies were blue, all that extra stuff. And lo and behold, 2 years, a little over 2 years later, and we done 100 just 100 podcast episodes, not including all the other stuff. How y'all feeling, man? How y'all feeling about this venture that we've been on?
At home, still locked in the house. I'm just being real. My bad.
I'm not sure what's going on over there.
You can leave and go out.
Oh man, it's how you feeling, Eric? How you feeling, man? Like, you know,
still out in these streets. I was out in these streets when we started. I'm still out in these streets now.
True. It's I often think about this, man. You know, me, I'm always, you know, I always consider myself like the visionary. I just start seeing stuff and imagine how things gonna go. Be honest, did anybody else think that we was gonna get to 100 episodes? You know, I mean, it's literally 100 episodes. That's a lot of work we put in. Nobody? Yeah.
I mean, I thought so. I mean, I didn't. I'm not gonna say I thought we was gonna fall off or nothing, but I felt like we was going, you know, we was gonna get to it because I mean, I know if you know something, especially with you, you know, something that you want to do, you're gonna make sure that you know we see it through. So it wasn't no doubt in my mind that we was gonna get here. I mean, it was kind of hard to see all the way back in episode 1 with me recording in the closet.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Man,
I was waiting for that.
Early days, his ass was there sweating. He had no light or nothing. You just saw this a shadow.
Hey, but I mean, I made it work. Yeah, I had to make it work. Had to make it work, man.
True. It was such a good time. Starting this thing, I remember we did that first episode. Well, first 3 episodes, all in that same 5-hour period. 3 episodes that sounded completely different. And that's all for me. Just doing research at the beginning. I'm looking at all these books and stuff. It's like, well, if you're gonna start a podcast, you gotta at least launch it with 3 episodes. I'm like, what the hell are we gonna talk about? Okay, we'll do this. And then the thing I used to see was it was like most podcasts. I think it was like, I forgot what the number was. I want to say it was like some ridiculous number, maybe like 70%, something weird like that. Maybe they said they don't make it past I think like 10 episodes before like they fall off. So I hear a lot of people who talk to me, my brother in particular, shout out my younger brother Cedric, man. He said, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and we talking about independent podcasts. We talking about all the big boys. I consider us a big boy now, but he said a lot of the people who started, he said the consistency for him is what locked him in. is literally, if you average out 100 episodes over 2 years, that's literally 50 episodes a year, and it's only 26 weeks in a year. So we did a lot, in a year. So we were here multiple times, doing all the I guess now it's funny, you start doing what they call the not the offshoot stuff, what do they call, like spinoffs. So what football talk and everything else we're doing, the draft shows, and man, oh man, it shows.
I think it actually comes from how we were built, though.
Yeah.
It was just normal conversation, unfiltered conversation, being able to just come on here and kind of spill our guts in a way, kind of use it as our own session, as we always said, to clear our minds. So it was never like we didn't have anything to talk about. Life is always happening.
Right.
How some shows are just steered towards one particular thing.
Right.
So if that one particular thing ain't kicking, it's a dull show.
Yeah.
If it's not a prime time week or day in sports, it may be a flat show for some people. But for us, we're talking about life, and there's always something going on in life. You'll never turn on the news and they say we have nothing to report. Let's go to weather.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's always, whether good or bad, there's always something going on that you're going to be able to talk about. Now, the difference with us is that a lot of people are still steered by saying what people want to hear.
Yeah.
As far as the right thing to say, I guess you would say. And we say the things that people keep in their mind, may say, in that barbershop type talk. But then when you walk out of there, you got to straighten up. You got to, tighten up that tie, like pull it up and everything. You got to get to work. You got to speak in a certain way, and you got to act in a certain way. And with us, it's just like, hey, you know what? This is how I feel about this. Whether, say for myself, whether you three agree with that thing, hey, let's talk about it. At the end of the day, we still got love for each other, but we don't have to agree on everything. And that's already known. So
I'll say, I appreciate you brothers, man. And even salute to you guys even more. If you guys hadn't been paying attention to our socials and everything else, man, we just eclipsed 5,500 podcast downloads. So salute to everybody out there, man. This podcast has grown organically, and I can proudly say that we're not listened to just domestically, but we're international out this bitch. We out here. We have folks who listen to us in different countries. I don't know how that translates to them. I really don't. I know some of them probably for some military connections that I have, that people in different spots, but I really don't know it. And it'd be different if it was like one or two here, and I'm thinking that might be a bot, but it'd be like a significant amount of numbers in different countries. I'm like, I mean, unless, I guess they use the closed. Well, no, I don't know how that happened. Well, I gotta find out. Unless they doing I don't know what they do. If the transcript or something like that, I don't know.
I don't always think that everybody in different countries is speaking a different language. That
you ain't lying.
They can't understand what
I took German in middle school. Sorry, in high school, and for 4 years. And to a certain point in my life, my ass was fluent in German. So when I went to the military, and the first time I went to Germany, so I'm thinking I'm going to use, these are my younger days, I'm going to use my German. Bruh, everybody was speaking fucking English. I'm like, all right, you know what? It's fine. And then somebody put me on, it was like out in the older parts of like the country, they speak more German. About there, everybody was speaking English. I'm like, okay, all right. So salute to you guys, man. I had to go back up here. Salute to my fiance and my daughter there. They're probably watching on the big TV in the other part of the house. So she sees Daddy and Uncle Dave on there. So you got Uncle Eric and Uncle Earl up here as well. Then my guy Webster Style, who will join us a little bit later in the show, man. We're gonna be talking about some gaming stuff. But we know why you guys came here. It's that unfiltered conversation. Let's get right into it, man. So for all of us sports fans, and all of us here, we the season, we got a lot going on, football and basketball. So let's talk about some basketball and a couple other things as well. So of course, back around Thanksgiving is when up in here in Maryland, they finally made the sports book legal. So legalize online betting and stuff like that. So we've been using FanDuel and all that stuff there. So it's been good times. People that won money, people that lost money, whatever case may be. But there's also this thing that seems to be simmering, and it's been like that for a while, where you're seeing a lot of bad calls in sports, like flagrant missed calls. So much so, if you're paying attention to the social media world, Twitter, Facebook for the OGs, whatever the case may be, a lot of times they look at that, maybe even Instagram. A lot of people, they look at some of these sports and they feel like a lot of it's rigged. If you guys, if for you young folks, if you don't remember a specific ref from it's been about 10 years now, a little over 10 years, Tim Donaghy. Y'all remember him? The NBA ref. They got caught up in that whole gambling and betting on games scandal and all that stuff. That happened back then. He ended up doing about 11 months. So much so there's actually this Netflix Netflix documentary called Operation Failed Fault or something like that, where he goes in a little bit more about how they, referees will really dictate the games and some of the things that will happen. They talk about a specific incident where they were calling the palming thing, so the crossover that AI was doing back in the day, and they were only calling on him, and because he had kind of like got in the face of one of the refs at one point, and they started calling it on him. They fined him $25,000, and the refs thought a suspension was warranted for Allen Iverson, so they took it into their own hands and started calling turnovers and illegal things on him, the palming thing, his old crossover. And if he goes even further, they were talking about this one spin move back in the day when Jordan was playing, and the league was telling him, hey, you need to call that spin. So they called it during the game. Phil Jackson came off of the bench and was all up in Tim Donaghy's face. I think Steve Jabby, it might have been at the time. And they were like, he was like, hey, how do you call that? And then Steve Jabby was pretty much like, hey, that's what the league wants us to call. And then according to what Tim Donaghy's saying, he said Phil Jackson was like, yeah, I know that's what they want to call, but they don't want that called on him. And what does that mean to a bettor and stuff like that? That can kind of sway how things going in this case. So the most recent thing that happened was the Celtics-Lakers game that happened the other night. It was 105, 4 seconds left. And LeBron James went up, and there was a blatant foul on the forearm. Blatant. Like, that's a foul that we would call if we playing in my backyard. I'm calling that foul, bro. Like, that's a foul at the end of the day.
It was a Giants against Commanders foul.
Don't even get me started on that shit.
We don't call that in New Jersey.
Man, shit.
Maybe in Virginia, but we don't call that. Yeah. We don't call that in New Jersey. That's not a foul.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing about that, and you're right about that, Earl. Some of those calls you wouldn't call back in the day. You know what makes them worse now is because all the different camera angles at home, you're seeing this, even though the refs may have not saw it real time. When you show that, to the viewers now, you're like, bruh, how you missed that? And I
think
what I'm saying?
In retrospect,
right.
They saw the call. Okay. What wasn't going to happen?
Right.
Was they wasn't going to win this. This thriller wasn't going to end on a free throw.
He decided, yeah.
Yeah, right. It wasn't going to end on a free throw.
Not in Boston.
Not in Boston, right.
Right.
Had he made it,
right.
Had he dunked or something like that, then cool. You could end it like that, but nah, B. This is going to go through overtime. You're not winning at the free throw line. Absolutely not. You know what I'm saying? So I think, he got cheated. It was a blatant foul.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They fucked up, but at the end of the day, like, I understand. You know what I'm saying? I get it. But if you're a Lakers fan, that's OD. Now, had that been, if this was a game that actually mattered, you know what I'm saying? All games matter. But
I'm sure it matters to them.
Yeah, that's why I said all games matter. But like, I'm
Jordan said it ain't no foul.
Right.
Yeah, if this was the playoffs or something like that, right. I could get that.
But let's see. Look, hey, to your point now, Errol, you said playoffs. Do we all not remember the infamous New Orleans Saints, Minnesota? Was it New Orleans Saints, Minnesota Vikings game when the receiver was clearly interfered with on the sideline and they didn't call it? That was in the playoffs. Was that the divisional round? Or was that the championship game?
It was definitely playoffs.
I think it was a divisional round. And
it definitely won a championship game because neither one of them teams been to the Super Bowl in a minute.
True. You're true, right? But it was. I think it was at least a divisional round. Might have been wild. Hell, it was still the playoffs, and you had a blatant pass to the. I mean, he bulldozed through my man. I gotta think about the receivers now, and they didn't call that.
But there's no repercussions.
It's not. And here's
all
the
they
thing
do
about,
is put out a statement,
right? And that
and
makes it
move
worse, because they put out a statement for this Lakers game and was like, yeah, the league, that was a blatant foul. It's the same thing they did in the Washington Giants game. Yep. At the end of the game, where the corner clearly,
and they still worked that last game, like you said.
Yes, they worked the
playoff game,
right? Which before I go to that. So here's the part where why I say the house always wins, and why people think some of this stuff is rigged at times. Because think about if you're the person who, call it what it is now. We're in that age now. You bet on that game. You bet on, because the Lakers end up losing that game, by the way. You bet on that game for the Lakers win, whether it's the money line, the case may be.
I bet on the 2.5 spread.
Okay. All right. See, you smart guy.
No, I lost that shit.
Well, I mean, sorry. What was the final score? Well, I guess, the straight, if you straight going straight the money line part.
But Brock Purdy messed everything up.
Yeah.
I'd have won the Lakers 2 plus 2.5.
Got you.
If they call that foul.
Got you. So okay, that point there. So you see that, because again, you remember we played FanDuel, and you see those odds change real time.
Yeah.
So you take that into account, and again, I'm not siding with the people who say it's rigged, but I want give them why they think this. You look at what's happened with the Tim Donaghy, and he's blown the whistle on a few other people as well. And then the fact that if you ever been gambling in a casino, Vegas or whatever, you hardly ever win. You know what I'm saying? It begs the reason that, it's I don't know, they got kind of a case sometime, even though it may be far-fetched. They have a case for with it, because it seems like Vegas is always right about something. Like such and such is gonna be out this week, so the odds are changing. You're like, wait a minute, we didn't even hear that yet from the team. Oh, okay. So it's interesting.
I think me and Earl were talking about how amazing it is that they can come up with these numbers. So maybe me and Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Me and somebody talking about how amazing it was that they can sit there and say somebody's going to get 15.5 points and they get 16, and then they sit there and say somebody's going to be under 13.5 and they get 13.
Yeah, it'd be spot on, bro. And that'd be the bullshit, because that's when, like, damn, son, like they really stop at, and I understand why they do the half. Like, they really stop at these 12.5 motherfuckers get 12. You like, come on, son.
Now the craziest thing is when it ruins your ticket, the obvious one that you weren't even looking at.
Right.
It's the one that messes you up. Somebody crazy does something and you're just like, okay. But then it's like, I think we were discussing before, like Derrick Henry getting 50 yards. It's like, man, he could fall over and get 50 yards. And that'd be the time he get 49.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
So,
or like everybody throwing the touchdown in the game and Derrick Henry fumbles the ball at the 5-yard line.
These are facts. This happened.
Salute to the guy Kaleo, man, for We Are Something Else, man. Appreciate you, man, on the 100, man.
Yeah, man.
So that goes into, you were talking about, we were talking about the football aspect. So we watched the Philadelphia Eagles San Francisco competition. I don't even want to call that a game at this point. But it started off with a play that even before they showed the replay, I saw in real time. I don't know about anybody else, that Devonta Smith didn't catch that. What would have been an incredible catch.
You just got to look at reactions, bro.
Right. That right there. And then what makes it worse is before, they're showing the replay of it, like to us, to the viewers at home. And I'm like, wait a minute, if they're showing that to us,
they got to see it. Yeah.
Does someone in New York not see that? Now, are they they leave it up for, the coaches got to be the one to challenge.
Well, no, they got, they wasn't in the last 2 minutes or nothing.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. They're like, well, they didn't do anything because it's up to the coaches to, like, I'm gonna challenge that. But if you're showing the replay here, all that technology, somebody's like, yo, that's not a catch.
But I'm saying as far as a coach.
Right.
When you
I got
see, especially on a 4th down play,
right,
somebody that is involved in the play gets up that quickly. It's like, yo, snap this ball.
Right.
Let's run the next play.
Right.
Let's go.
It's so many
that should
factors
cause
there.
you to look at that pretty hard.
Yeah, it just makes it bad. Like all this stuff, not to say it's rigged, but it's too much of this stuff. You look at it with a side eye because even when they look at things, they're reviewing calls and stuff like that, and then they'd be like, "Well, the refs." At one point, if y'all remember, the refs didn't get all the angles that we saw at home. Like, so when they look in that little replay booth, they don't get all the angles. And my question was, why the hell don't you not get all the angles that we see? It's so crazy. Like, they literally don't get everything that we see.
That's crazy if they don't.
Yeah, they literally don't. They don't get, and it always so you and you could tell they don't because listen to the analysts or the commentators, and they be like, you might look at Tony Romo or Mike Tirico or one of those guys. They may be like, yeah, that's a clear out of bounds or something like that.
Now the funniest is when they had the ref when they called the old ref in.
Right.
They're like, what do you think about this play? Oh, this is easily gonna get overturned. And the play stays the same.
He be like, yeah, if I was still there, I would have overturned that. No, you wouldn't, because you would have got the same raggedy ass visuals that they got on the field. So, if you look at the Twitterverse and stuff like that, a lot of people look at this like it rigged. And some of it might be fandom. Oh, I can't believe they called that. And some of it is like, it kind of makes sense. All that being said, you end up getting 2 black quarterbacks in the Super Bowl coming up. Interesting to say the least. What's interesting about
quiet, Earl.
What's interesting?
I'm not gonna say nothing. You want me to say something?
No. Go ahead, Shawn.
Nope. We're trying to make it past 100, son. Yeah, we're trying to make it past 100. So what's interesting about
somewhere in there is a Django Unchained reference.
Oh man, salute to Pat Mahomes. Making it in, man. Over that game was very interesting as well with the Cincinnati game. But
let me ask you something on that game because we were talking about it on the box.
Go ahead.
Doesn't this change things for people getting injured now?
Mm-hmm.
And talking about they out for like months and stuff like that when this man could go out and win a game with a high ankle sprain that anybody else would have sat out for how many weeks?
Chase Young.
They come and say something to you now and you like, well, Patrick Mahomes,
he played on one leg.
just took his team to the Super Bowl. Like
literally.
Don't say, first of all, don't say Chase Young, because Chase Young know what the fuck he was doing. All right, so I heard that whisper. Don't say Chase Young. He wasn't come back to that bummy ass organization and put shit on the line.
Man.
You got a lot of anger right now.
Man.
I think he angry because Philly's in, and I understand, but
no, I'm not. I'm actually not. All right, man.
Dang.
I'm happy for that black man.
You like the fact that we got buildings in New York lit up their colors?
Nah, I found that out at work. I'm upset, but you know what? Let me speak on that real quick. This is what I'm talking. I told my coworker this. I was like, yo, see, New York ain't really it's not a committed sports town, and this is what I mean by that. Like, unless you like the Yankees or the Mets, New York fans ain't really like loyal like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could go to like Pittsburgh, they Steelers fans. It ain't no in between. You go to Philadelphia, is Philly fan, Eagles fan. It ain't no in between. You know what I'm saying? New York, New Jersey is probably the only place you go to, especially New York, where it's like, yo, you can get, it's a melting pot. You got
that's fact.
49ers fans, you got Cowboys fans, you got all this different shit. But like, you could go anywhere else in the country, they don't do that shit. So that's why I said, like, the shit don't surprise me that the fucking green was lit up. That shit is embarrassing, bro. Like,
he damn night.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't shock me, but I'm like, yo, like, come on, bro. Like, that's corny as fuck.
All I know is, and this is not any type of, no fan of a Philly. All I know is opposing teams that's messing around with Philly. I need y'all to leave Rocky Balboa statue alone, because every team has come in and thrown their gear on that. They have walked out with an L.
Chill out. Yeah,
I need y'all to. Yeah,
they've been whooping ass. Like, you gotta relax, yo.
Yeah, Rocky beat Drago, and after Drago killed Apollo. I'm gonna need for y'all to. I'm gonna need, that guy's he's
shout out to Creed 3 coming.
Yes, it's gonna be pretty.
You do realize though, I mean, he may have beat Drago, but Clubber Lang was actually
he beat the brakes off him. Yeah, Clubber Lang damn near killed him. I ain't gonna lie to you.
exactly. So I mean, it was actually harder for him to get past Clubber than it was to get past Drago. Just saying.
Clubber Lang beat him so bad he got the shakes like you in Magic City. That shit is not cool for Rocky at all at this point. It really ain't bad. So
he had to contemplate life decisions after that
really did.
From Clubber.
He really did. His wife told him, "Hey, look, you need to sit your ass down. You out here, you gonna set the whole house on fire like I did Muhammad Ali when he was trying to light that torch back in the Olympics a few days, handshaking and shit. That's just not cool."
Shout out to 18. Shout out to 18. Keep going.
Absolutely. So back on the football stuff. So we watched the Philly San Francisco game, which was again, it was like watching a person beat up on somebody with both hands behind their back. And what's so interesting about that, and this tie-in is probably something. This is what we do here. So, of course, they're playing the San Francisco 49ers, which I think everybody had picked. Most people had picked them to win this game, even with Brock Purdy winning, because everything else around him. And in the same breath that this is happening, a few days earlier, I do apologize, that we get I don't even know what you want to call it. We get another situation of police brutality. And how does that coincide with San Francisco 49ers? For anybody who has been living under a rock, Colin Kaepernick. 2016, Colin Kaepernick was sitting on the sideline in protest of police brutality and the treatment of black and brown people. And then that turned into, after him talking with a veteran, him taking a knee, and then you know how that whole thing spiraled out of control. At the time, we had then Donald Trump as the president, and it all brought to light something that kept going. And January 3rd is when the incident actually happened, if I'm correct. Tyree Nichols was beaten to death. He ended up dying 3 days later in the hospital, but beaten, tased, pepper sprayed, just completely just assaulted by 5 police officers. Here's the big surprise. They were all black. So
no, they wasn't.
Light skin? Did I miss something?
They wasn't all black, but it was mostly black. But go ahead.
Did I miss one?
Yeah, there was a person that had the complexion for the protection in there. But go ahead.
Go ahead. All right. And the vague details at the point was a reckless driving situation or something like that. Unfortunately, I watched the video. I watched it initially. I didn't want to at first, but I watched it. And I was angry as shit. If it not for the fact that it was a majority black men doing it to another black man, but the fact that we was having this same conversation, the same situation was happening again. And the interesting part is this happened on the 3rd. I believe that they were fired and stuff on the 20th. And then they were arrested and charged with murder on the 26th. And then on top of that, they did a release of the video like they were about to drop a new Jay-Z album. That's the part that kind of like unnerved me. It's like, yo, we about to drop the video today at this time. Please don't go out and tear up the streets. And then they eventually dropped it that day. So my son actually had asked me. And he was 3 houses, not even 3 blocks, 3 houses from where he lived at. What y'all got, man?
In hindsight, them charges came very quick.
Very much so.
I wonder why. I'm about to say, I wonder why.
I mean, compared to all the rest of the cases that we saw nationwide, them charges came very quick.
What was the difference, Eric? You see what I'm saying?
I think I was speaking with somebody about it when we were talking about the fact of how you look back at when it happened to the fact that it just really wasn't even getting national attention like that. They really didn't get national attention until they got charged. To be honest, I mean,
I don't think, honestly speaking, I don't think it. I still don't think it's getting the attention that it's supposed to. I think honestly, I think black media started, highlighting this, especially on IG, social media and stuff like that. Because now you got celebrities that's putting stuff up there. Viola Davis, I saw, D.L. Hughley. So honestly, I mean, for somebody like me who really don't watch the news, and I have my reasons for not watching the news, like my gauge of it being put out there publicly is from social media, unfortunately. But I think we all know the answer as to why they got charged quickly.
Oh yeah, of course, we all know
that.
We all know the answer to why they got fired quickly.
Right. Right. And this is, I think that's the frustrating thing for me is like, for them cops is like, bro, you, even though you wear that badge and like, you still a Negro. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit don't protect you, bro. But then let's take it a step further. Like, yo, how do you in good faith do that to somebody that looks like you? Like, that shit is wild excessive. It's 5 dudes and you got this guy handcuffed and you're punching him in the face, you're tasing him, like y'all had like malice intent for that.
No,
but before we go any further,
I'm a baton the shit out of you.
Yeah, like
before we go any further, I want to bring you. We got our first guest tonight. Just going to join us with this conversation, man. The guy, man, Kaleo from the We Are Something Else podcast. What's up, bro?
Yo,
what's going on, man?
Yo, happy 100.
We got CB too, man. We got
CB.
Oh, man,
there he
is. Find out.
We got CB.
Hold on. This man got our background.
I know, right? I ain't even got that picture.
I need to take a shot.
My man.
There you go.
My man.
Talk about fire.
It's a celebration, bitches.
I guys. One time.
Oh man.
They were actually our first. We did like the and we got one more with us. So I think we about to break the damn business because we got E Rich come in. So there we go.
Oh, yeah. Well,
so we got only person we missing is Superfly, man. But look,
we move as a unit. We move as a unit.
We out here, bro.
There you go.
I appreciate you guys, man. There's some of our first when we did the swap. That was like back in like episode 12 when we first did our first like guest type episode 12, right? That's a long time ago.
That was a while back.
And we appreciate the support, man. They back and forth. They we began to make the support. You guys are 157 episodes and Soul Tales and everything else, and
we're there and more.
Of course, all it's so great to see what we've all built, man. But back to the convo. Talking about Tyree Nichols, and I think all 4 of us said Earl, Eric, and Dave. We wonder why, and I said that when I saw that, and you were talking about different celebrities speaking out on things, and the thing that kind of got to me, because some of the things I saw and read, and I had to stop reading, wasn't the fact that this was police officers beating another, or just killed another black man. It was. Oh man! Of course they charged them so quickly because they were black. If they were white, it would have been this. So I want to remind a lot of people.
It would have been at the desk,
right?
That's all. I'm taking off the street.
I want to remind a lot of people though that this issue just isn't a black-white thing. It's an institutional thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally an institutional thing because for the longest time, policing. And there are good police officers out there. I have family members who are police officers. I know people personally who are great police officers. But what you have effectively done is, in some places, giving people the power to impose their will. And they may not even be fit for the job and have that power over somebody else because they can. And more times than not, the people that they feel like they can do it to is a black person. If this had been 5 black men beating a white person, that's a whole different space. Different space. If this had been now this is the part that kind of like when this happened and seeing the response of people in our community, like, of course they charge them so fast because they black. But if this had been one white person involved in all that, it would have been a whole different conversation. It's institutional. I'll remind you guys of two characters, and I don't know their names, but I can tell you talking about the one black guy who played as the right-hand man to the white, I don't know what was he. I guess he was maybe the sheriff or something in Life with Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy, the one black guy out there that used to call boss. You know what I'm talking about? The one black guy. And I also want to remind you of Samuel Jackson's character in Django. It's institutional, man. So what you do is the protection that you get from those who are in charge more times than not in these type of spaces, they're white. Yeah, we have black commissions and stuff like that. But if you keep going up and up and up, you end up being a white guy or a white woman. More times than not, this is the way we live now, white men. And so what's the best place or best way to actually I guess, protect or be good, being good what you're doing, but also have a certain level of prosperity? You're answering to somebody else.
I want to fill in real quick on what
you go. You good.
So it's hard to even like break it down, but first off, I give my condolences to the Nichols family before I say anything else.
Absolutely.
We sit back and we have this conversation way too much. I think we would all agree on that.
Yep.
Way too much. To a point where the world, society knows, and listen to me here, they know that we're going to get numb to it if you're not already numb to it.
Yep.
They know that there's going to be a push for a couple of weeks, and then it's on to the next day and the next thing happening. They know a law is going to be put up there on the table to be voted on to be shot down. They know they're going to turn it into blacks against cops, even though this is black on black. It's just, I'm seeing it way too much. I started the video. I couldn't finish it. I'm just letting you know. I couldn't finish it. You hear the word, even from the Nichols family, I believe the mother, you hear the word justice a lot. True justice is when this doesn't happen.
Right.
You get what I mean? We talk about what's going to happen to these officers. What's going to happen to all the other people that were standing there? Do you know how many people were there?
Yeah,
the EMSs that never even came over to the body.
Yeah,
EMTs.
They just fired them.
What I mean?
Like, yeah, they just fired them.
Like, what's going on there? What are we gonna do?
And they fired the driver.
Right.
But firing, okay.
Yeah.
They're there. They could have saved this person's life. Well, I think he passed away 3 days later.
3 days later.
So we live in that society where you don't realize what's really going to spur from this. Because, now I'm speaking to the cops that are out there that majority wise do their job well, but realize when you see this puts a stain on them because you wonder why people don't trust.
Right.
You wonder why people react the way that they do when you could be doing your job well. But all it takes is these people out here that are out there to just carry that badge and have that power in their mind to just do whatever.
Right.
And now your life is on the line as that good cop. Because I don't know you're a good cop. I just know what I see every single day. I don't know what you're pulling me over for. I told people a while ago, the scariest moment in my life, there's a lot of things I've been through. The scariest moments in my life come from a simple being pulled over by a cop. Changing lanes wrong or speeding or something like that. Even though you may just get away with a ticket, you're there shaking. Your hands, 10 and 2. And you're just shaking. They ask you easy questions. License and registration. You don't want to reach too fast. And people just think, oh, well, you got this in your mind. No. I've seen this over and over and over again. We bring our kids into this type of society over and over and over again. The discussions that we have to have with them, even when they're in the right. Well, some of us are wearing hoods. Oh, don't wear your hood going this way because that shows that you're this type of person.
Yep.
That's what's going on. And we talk about justice, but we talk about it as, like a response. No, justice is when we don't have to have this conversation anymore.
Right.
My kids could just go out and play and, hey, come back when the lights are on. That type of conversation is what happened with me. as a kid. I can't tell my kid that same conversation. I can't have that conversation with him. Where you going? Where you at? Who's going to be there? Let me call over. You know, all those different type of things. You can't do the normal stuff. I told some of y'all that a situation happened with my child in school and everything like that. And normally you just be like, hey, you approach these kids in this type of way. You can't have that conversation. These kids don't fight no more. They ain't no shoot the fair one. Like, it's a different conversation and it's scary, bro. Yep. It's scary. I'm sorry to go off on a tangent on it, but it is scary, man.
Right, good. I want to get the input of guys, man, from the We Are Something Else podcast. Was either one of you three guys, man, give your insight, man, because it's so many different layers to this, but at the end of the day, you have what's in front of you at the end of the day and how people respond to it. Like, you know, the response to this isn't what the response was to George Floyd. It's not. You had people creating. I created a song for doing that around 3 other people there, and we donated to their family. So the response to this ain't there, and this has been the biggest thing that I see is because they were all black officers. It should be the same outrage. It should be that same outrage. I know it's not, but it should be that same outrage because again, you at the end of the day, you still have another black man being killed by officers who have been entrusted to actually uphold the law, quote unquote. So whichever one of you three guys, man, you got it.
Go ahead. You look like you got something in your mind.
I gotta be the spokesperson for this.
You can go first. Look like you're ready to go. I'm trying to figure out where I want to start.
I'm Black Wall Street all day. So this digs deeper than, I guess at the end of the day, what we're looking at is, to kind of answer a question with your question though, right? That you pose is what's going to be different this time, or what should be different, or what's not going to happen outside of everything that you labeled. And my question for you is, how do you dismantle something that was put in place before? I mean, like this is what the country was built off of.
Right. So,
you're talking about applying a change, all the things that you talked about. All of that comes from is what they taught us, and that's violence. Because violence changes the outcome of most things that happen based upon who the oppressed are. Because that's what this is. This is always about some type of violence against the oppressed. As soon as it changes hands, then it becomes a problem, and then that's where and that's the key word is change. It doesn't change. We joke as a community. What do we joke about when it comes to guns? We said what? They'll change gun laws as soon as we
get them. Yep.
Once we have the permits and legally start carrying guns, all of a sudden there's going to be a different type of gun. So again, it's what we do, and that's why I say it's deeper than what you're saying, because I think the culture, or saying the area, is all about what. So I'll just put it to you like this. Some say they're outraged because it was five, or they were black officers. I'm not outraged, because from the jump, as a kid, I was put in position by black officers on the hood of a car that was running. So my affinity for cops wasn't because of your color. It's because of the uniform that you had on, because you thought that you opposed authority over me, just from a standpoint of you had a badge or a certain uniform on. I didn't care if you was white, black, Mexican, all of the above. And the way it was out here, like I said, you can do the research. There were certain places in LA that a cop would not even go because they would get picked off. Don't come down here. They would literally tell and write it. They would tell the OG officers, the sergeants, don't send a rookie cop down here. We have an understanding. You know what we doing down here. You bring a rookie cop down here. We gonna see what bring one. So you remember colors? Pac-Man, that is off of a true story out here. Because that's how they got their. They felt like they had to enforce over us. It's all about power. It's about the oppressed not having power.
And before you go on that's something that comes up. We look at what happens in China and stuff like that. And we often read about how they protest. And when they protest differently than what we do in the US. Like we will protest up to a certain point, but ain't nobody really willing to die in the US. You look at these other countries, like, Tiananmen Square is a real thing. The shit that popped off prior to COVID, and that's a whole nother conversation. When they were actually out there protesting, they were willing to die for that because they understood the power in people itself. And part of that is someone is going to make that sacrifice. And the part with this is, you see a lot of people, they go out and say defund the police and stuff like that. That's a whole nother different conversation. When you have something like this, and then you have an entity, and I said before you guys came on, they came out and was like, hey, we about to drop the video. Like I said, literally, they was presenting the dropping of the video like they about to drop the newest Kendrick Lamar album. But we want you, and the FBI even said it. We're taking a look at places there to make sure that things don't get out of hand. Fuck you mean don't get out of hand? What do you mean? I'm going to tell you right now, and I have a 17 about to be an 18-year-old son. If that was my son, I would burn down the entire state of fucking Maryland. You're not going to tell me how I can protest. I said it in our first episode. And we joked about it because Earl was like, I got stopped for being in a Kia. True story though.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in my uniform. I'm coming from Fort Gordon in Georgia. I drove up to Newport News, Virginia. I'm on 33rd and Jefferson. I didn't know that for whatever reason, like one of the brackets on my license plate, my rear brackets fell off. So I get there, I get stopped. I get pulled up. I don't know what's going on. Cops come out. They don't come out just talking to me. They come out with guns in hand. Who the fuck car is this? I'm in uniform. They don't give a shit about that. In the city that I grew up in, one was white, one was black. See what I'm saying?
Authority. It's authority. It's
that aspect. You see what I'm saying?
That just that just happened recently too. You saw the guy that was in uniform. He had the brand new truck,
right?
And he drove a little further to get to a lit gas station. They pepper sprayed him and all. They treated him like
they
shit.
just came to a ruling on.
They reward him $3,500.
Yeah,
$3,500.
Yeah, that just happened.
Let me
$3,500.
Let me welcome Webster Style up here, man, from the Santorio and Greek podcast, man. It's a motherfucking celebration night 100. I appreciate. Look, I came underdressed. I came in a graphic tee. He came in with a bow tie.
With the background. This one comes. I'm out of here, man.
Yeah,
it's a celebration.
It's a lot of blackness happening right now.
It's a celebration.
It is, man. It's interesting to see that we're back in the same space, and I tied this into coming off of the San Francisco 49ers game. And 2016 is when Colin Kaepernick did what he did. And he sat, then he kneeled, and he was given hell for doing this. And literally 6 years later, still the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's still the same. And I saw the message or the if you guys saw, and it's not, and this is why it's so interesting to me. The message that the NFL put out about this, I found that on a UK site. When it was the George Floyd situation, that shit was, I could find that on CNN, PBS, goddamn Tubi, all that.
Tubi.
You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things where, and you coincide that, and this is the point I'm trying to make, and I'm not trying to change anybody's mind. We should be as outraged about this that we were outraged about watching what happened to George Floyd, because it's literally the same thing.
Oh, absolutely.
The difference is
It's us doing
it's black on black crime. It's like people saying that that shit happens in Chicago all the time. Whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
they trust that you're gonna be numb to it. I'm telling you.
They do,
cycle.
And I'm gonna add one more thing into this. It's interesting when you have white, some from the white community. This happens to the black community, other minorities. But when it's black on black, it's like, hey, watch them just eat each other. I'm gonna throw something out there to you. Look at what just happened with the Ed Reed situation. Ed Reed went out there and completely eviscerated Bethune-Cookman. And it was one of those cases, while most of us look at that, it's like, yo, Ed was right. And then some of us was like, nah. That was one reason I took the stance what I did, though, because now you're kind of like tearing down your own folks at this point. We know there's issues. You're tearing down your own folks. But you who don't have to worry about it, the other people are like, well, we got to worry about them messing up our situation over here. In this police brutality piece, well, we ain't got to worry about them talking about white people. In Reed's case, go ahead.
Can I make 2 comments real quick? So
you good.
Back to the Tyree Nichols thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I watched it because it's going to be hard to avoid it, regardless if you watch it. If you don't watch it now,
right,
it's going to be there forever, right? So at some point you're going to come across it, right? And now that it's relevant in the media, before there's another one, because we know that eventually there'll be another name, right?
Right.
And so there's 2 sides, because it hurt to watch because you know the outcome of the video, right?
Right.
And what I ask myself is, because as black people, your parents have a different conversation with you growing up, right? And my dad was a state trooper.
Yeah.
So I kind of knew, how to handle myself in certain situations, but like you watch the video and like, why don't we just stay down? Right? There's nothing. My life was way more important than anything else. I know fear may have had a lot to play in it, but why don't we just stay down?
Yeah.
Let them do what they got to do, figure out, question all it, and just let me go home at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because you get up, you resist when we resist, and just rouse them up even more. Even though they were already amped up when the first cop. So the first cop that pulled the scene was white. You clearly see his hand, and he got out, and everybody else the scene was already kind of at it and ramped up. And I haven't seen the white guy's face or name in any of these news clippings yet.
Right.
But
Cleo, can I ask you one question off that comment?
Yeah.
Have you seen somebody get killed following exactly what they said?
Yeah, I mean, it's them you don't, but it's like, why? Like what?
It's
the
scariest situation in the world.
Yeah.
But even outside of that, right? Like, and not even to be funny, but like Plies even said it, like, because he was like, he had the conversation with somebody that was like, well, why don't they comply? And he was like, have you ever been beaten up? Have you ever been manhandled to the point where your body hurts, right? When you got people overpowering you, how do you go limp in the moment of them knees on your back and all kinds of stuff? You're uncomfortable, so your body's natural reaction is going to move.
You're trying to protect yourself. You're protecting yourself. Like
exactly.
You're protecting yourself.
When you say that, I understand. Why don't we comply? But even means of complying is, why would you do this? Why would you hurt me if I haven't even done anything to you that makes you want to go overboard? Of the simple fact of all you had to do was just ask me, and if you presented your way in a way of, I'm just gonna sit you over here, we can have a conversation instead of an aggressiveness that's already then now that's gonna have me want to do what I can't do but one thing, and that's protect myself.
George Floyd just trying to get into the position to breathe, and he's a big guy, so him just trying to move makes it look like he's trying to throw somebody or something.
Yeah,
but he's just trying to get in position
My comment comes out of watching it, knowing the outcome, and I'm like, "Damn, dog, just stay there."
I got you. No. I wasn't saying you're wrong in a sense, because sometimes I get that feeling off of some videos when you see people get pulled over and they want to challenge the law and record it, and I'm like, this is. So I get your feeling, but some of it is just a reaction.
Yeah,
of being.
And I think in this situation, he didn't get a chance to comply. Like they came in, opened the door, pulled him out. Like it was aggression from the door. Now, granted, like you said, like Dave was saying, like I do agree there are situations where the cops come in and people kind of egg it on a little bit, just asking all this like, yeah, comply at that point. But when you met with aggression, I mean, your human nature, your human instincts is about to kick in. You know what I'm saying? Especially too, and it's even worse when you feel like, yo, why the hell am I being pulled over? Why y'all meeting with me with this type of aggression? So it's like that's even more heightened. So
yeah, that's that get out the car moment. You're like, wait a minute.
Right.
And then once you get to the point, in the video, man, when they're standing him up, and Webster style, I want to get your take on this. They're standing him up, man, and dude is square off hitting him. Like I've never, I text something in our group chat because I watched it and I was so angry. So like it was one of those cases where let me holler at one of them real quick. That you just at this point, like squaring up and really hauling off and with all your might hitting another human while somebody's holding him.
Right.
The person holding him was just like, fuck, just do your worst. And the person hitting him, like there was no regard for human life, black, white, green, blue, whatever you do at this point.
And he hit him with the stick.
Yeah, and the messed up part about this has happened so often. I think part of this had to be believed that, like, you know what, we can probably get off on this because you already see that one of the guys was already, his lawyer was like, well, he couldn't really see because the pepper spray shit. Fuck out of here. Like it's set up, it's like it's so many different layers to this. But Webster, let me get your take on this, man.
I can make an argument. I can make an argument on the fact that he actually complied with what they were saying.
Right.
I mean, I watched the video and I can honestly argue and articulate how he actually complied while they were doing what they were doing. And I can say that from a personal standpoint because I've seen plenty of people in positions when you have to comply. I mean, the fight or flight kicks in, and I can actually give you very good arguments on why when a person goes into the flight situation, that's a position of complying more so than the fight. The fight situation is going to be what it's going to be. There's no compliance whatsoever. And there's all types of ways when a person goes into that fight. Most people aren't going to go into that fight situation, especially in that circumstance with all those people there. He actually was in the flight situation and he actually got to be in very good compliance. And a lot of things that what they did is things that are taught. And I can tell you from the word and the verbiage that they used in the video, they know that they're being recorded. They know it's on camera. There's no secret to it. The things that they were saying actually is what leads me to believe that he was definitely in compliance, but they said certain trigger words that they felt would allow them to be able to keep going. So that way, if questioned later, they could sit there and say, well, you heard when I said this and I said that, and the person didn't respond to these commands. So that's the reason why I took this approach. And at the end of the day, your force is only supposed to be as much as the force that is matched back with you. If you're being held up by two people, you don't have force at that point. So the force that's deemed necessary at that point is well beyond what they did because you can only match force to the force that's being aggressively given towards you. That's just my input. I could go a lot deeper, but I'll leave it at that.
Me and Eric talk. Me and Eric, I text Eric that night. We real specifically, and I think the two uniform folks in this case, and it was interesting to see that is you have the officer type, then you have the other side of the person. Like this stuff that took place was something that was more internally to the officers involved. In this case, you just took that shield that you feel like you were empowering that person in front of you, and you just like, hey, look. To his point, I gave him these certain commands. It gave me free reign to just like impose my will on him. What's that? What you got, man?
Now, I will say I've been avoiding this video like the plague over the course of the past 24, 48 hours when they said they were going to release it. So I'm like, it's not something I need to see. But just going to the point of just the blatant brutality and disregard for human life, unfortunately, that is something that probably happens far more often than we realize, but it really does hit a flashpoint every couple of years with these incidences. You talk about, this incident, we talk about Freddie Gray a couple years ago back home in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just I'm not someone who's ever been in uniform. And I think it's very easy to say, hey, none of this makes sense. How can you do this? But I really think it comes down to whether black, white, or whatever, it really is that officer or officers and their viewpoint on what their power is. Because in all these situations, it really comes down to that blatant abuse of power and feeling like, from outside looking in, feeling like they're invincible. And then, much like to the point that you and Ed was making, you know, you make these commands and that gives you the leeway or the shielding, so to speak, to pretty much do whatever you want to do, and it's covered, and you're covered. And with that, that just makes me think, what about if this is the one case we know about? How many more cases where things like this have happened? And this is not just there, but across the country,
right,
where they got away with it. And that's what I say. That's why people always talk about, oh, it's not all cops, it's a couple cops here, but it's an institution there. It's institutional behavior that they can get away with certain things. Some obviously don't cross that line or escape within the boundaries or the border, so to speak. But then you have the others that just don't care and just feel like they're invincible. And then we have incidences like this one here.
Yeah, man, it's I don't know what we do at this point. You literally don't know what you do.
Police
if we had the answers, you know, this wouldn't be
right,
whatever number this is in the last, you know,
right,
even couple of days when we talk about, you know, craziness going on.
Yeah. And some people say, you know, training, but who's doing the training? Like, who's doing the training? Like,
it's
somewhere along the
training.
line. Yeah,
I can't stand when people keep
right.
saying, oh, well, they need to be trained
right.
better. Oh, they should have a 4-year degree. Oh,
right.
It is not the training, people. Get off of that. It is not the training.
Thank you. Because it's not.
Part of
it's,
it,
yeah, that's part of it. But there's still no, well, there's training.
It's
well, there's psych
I can
eval.
argue with you on that too. It's not part of it. It is not. The training has nothing to do with it. Trust and believe me on that. It is the person. It is not what they're being taught. It's not how they're being trained. It is the person, the individual themselves that are doing this. Every single one of them was not trained to do that. I can guarantee you that. It is a personal decision.
Okay, so then the chokehold that was a training method got banned from what?
Like you said, that was banned. That was banned before they did that to him, which meant yes, that was taught once upon a time, and then those guys were banned from doing that.
Listen to what you just said. You just said it was not training. However, a training method is something that actually they use to kill another individual. So you can't say that it's not training when there are methods of training that are not done even properly. The fact of the matter, a chokehold is meant to do what?
Incapacitate a person.
So why would the police officers need to that has a baton, that has a bulletproof vest, they have a gun, taser, handcuffs, right? And normally are outnumber the
Yeah, they got fucking backup.
But yet a chokehold was a training that was implemented in the institution.
Once again, you're talking about a institution that I don't know how far back that was. I can't even sit there and say that those guys who did that up in New York were even the ones that were taught that. That doesn't necessarily mean that they were taught that, because I can tell you what, that same thing that happened in the over 20 years in Maryland. I can tell you there's been no such training about like that type of chokehold in the state of Maryland. Now, New York, obviously, I can't speak on every state. I cannot. And like I said, all I can say is I don't know that every officer involved in that incident was even taught that in their training.
But everything that we talk about is a product of, we have to start somewhere. And if nothing else, every piece that has to play a part in anything, there you can also say that you didn't get trained for your job to do something, but if somebody taught you wrong, period, what is it? It's a reoccurring thing that happens that people pass on.
Correct.
So let's not say that somebody taught you a bad habit, but yet you involved it into a certain style of training that you were given. So now what do? You improvise. You now add that as if you were teaching somebody else that comes in. Well, this is what I do. But but it makes it into the handbook somehow, because guess what? It's what do they say when it's useful? You know, they put it's effective. Oh, well, you know what? Good work, Eric. We're gonna add that to our policy. We're gonna add that to our training. So what I'm saying is every part of what we discussed, I don't think there's anything that we can't touch or can't like turn over to start this whole process over. And then even to Shawn's point, the whole Ed Reed thing, I look at it as this. You know, we can look at both sides of the book and say, well, he shouldn't have said this or he shouldn't have said that. When Deion said it and was calling out the black organization that we should be holding up high, right? Because we all know who've all been to, like I said, I got PVU on. I also went to Morgan State. I went to Morgan State and I was like, damn, this campus is nice as hell. But I also
it's
remember,
even nicer right now. I ain't lying.
I know, right? But here's the thing. But I also know that the damn dorm rooms look like shit. Yep. So the money allocated is all based upon what? Money hungry people that look like us that will hold us down because they want either their face in the newspapers or not even want to hold themselves accountable, or sit there and blame somebody else. Why are y'all talking about us? Well, because look at what y'all giving us.
Yeah.
Why can't we criticize ourselves to the effect of, if we're supposed to be so much better than that to ourselves, and we ain't even showing that, how are they gonna look at us?
I think in both cases, and you said the key word, it's accountability. You know what I'm saying? You got to hold, in both cases, you know, with the police officers, yeah, it starts with training, but again, you got to hold people accountable, and that's what's not happening. Yeah, we should be calling bullshit out. You know what I'm saying? That was unacceptable. You know what I'm saying? Like Deion, there was a lot of things that Deion did in them 3 years that pushed the culture forward, but there was a lot of reasons, and there was a lot of things that didn't happen, which is because like he was trying to hold them accountable, but they wasn't trying to hear that. So accountability is absolutely a thing that we need to get into, and people shouldn't be scared to hold others, especially us. We need to get away from that.
I will say we before we move on, man, because I know I knew it was going to happen either way. We're going to do this, man. Even if it's in the 100th episode. But I get joked about it by the guys and stuff like that. From my and I'm not making it about me, but my Buddhist practices.
Don't do that. Don't do
no,
that.
No. I'm being serious. I'm being serious.
All right, go ahead.
And the reason I said it is it's the part about being a good human, and what I mean by that is so post 9/11, you get a soldier that's been in the military for roughly 3 years. You hear about individuals who are over in Afghanistan in those cases where, you know, they're setting off they're self exploding. They're wearing the explosive vests and stuff like that. So you're 21, 22 years old. You ain't never really been outside of nowhere. And parts of that country you go up onto, and people are actually relieved to see you be there to help them. Like they're being oppressed more than what we do in the States. I'm telling you that right now. And not knowing the difference between the two, they come running up to you with pure jubilation. Yeah, I know, Earl, big word. Pure jubilation. But you not knowing, only thing you know is is a guy just walked into a crowded food court and had C4 strapped to his motherfucking chest, pulled that bitch and killed himself. You as a 21-year-old, you come out to this country you've never been to before. this person comes running up to you, happy to see you, running up to you in the same fashion. And you have a decision to make. Black, white, green, blue, purple, neon, whatever you can do. It comes down to the human aspect of it. Of it all, really, at the end of the day. How much do you appreciate your fellow man at the end of the day? It really does. How much do you appreciate that next human next to you? I don't care if they're a poor person, a rich person, how much you appreciate them. There's a whole bunch of different layers to it with the systematic and institutional aspect. How much do you appreciate that guy in front of you? These officers out here.
How much are you allowed not to also?
Right. And you have to make that decision. You have to make that decision. Like, are you one of those officers in that it's, hey, look, stop, right? And willing to take that blow. But look, you know what? What's happening right now, being able to step in front of him is like, this ain't happening. And willing to take that beat down for them. You have to be willing to take that. If you that type of human. If not, you get the results of what you get right now. We all know each other here. If we see one of the 7 of us, 8 of us that's going through something right now, I can almost bet that we about to get into this. Look, if you doing this to Shawn, look, you will have to deal with 7 others. But what's that tank? What is that energy you give to a person you don't know? That you don't know. A person you seeing getting jumped, whether it's a kid or an adult, what are you doing? Instead of filming it. Some of these shots that they posted from this was not from a police officer's camera. It came from what? I don't know, Eric. Did you look more? Was it coming from the camera?
There's a city camera. There's a city camera.
A city camera.
Was actually posted up there that got everything.
Right. And at the same time this was happening, I can best believe there was somebody in that neighborhood who was videotaping the same thing. It'll come out. So you sat and watched this. I don't give a shit. You sat and watched this. You sat and watched another human get murdered.
Same as they did for George Floyd.
Same thing. The same thing that happened with what's the name? With Freddie Gray. Same thing what happened to do up in Minnesota. We're watching this shit on film. We're just recording shit. Yeah. I just watched two teenage girls from a softball team, I believe, fight. With somebody recording it because I guess one of the girls, she made a mistake in the game. They watched them fight, parents and coaches. And we watched this shit and they did not break it up. So what are we doing as humans? What are you doing? Literally, what are you doing? But being a bystander and posting that shit on here for likes that you ain't getting paid for. But then at the same time, if that happens to somebody in your family, you're the first person to throw up your hands and be like, woe is me, go fund me, this, that, and the other. That shit has to stop, bro. That shit has to stop. It has to. I don't give a shit if you're uniform or not at this point. And I've been in uniform. That shit has to stop. We can't look at all these other countries, Asia, Hong Kong, the Middle Eastern countries, all those guys, and look at them and be like, man, like they just really is going through, their military comes out there. We understand they got that. And I'm gonna say some shit. This ain't gonna sound right. And I don't know how it goes. Just take it for what it is. These motherfuckers who ran up on the Capitol January 6th, call it what it is. Call it what it is. But they ran up on the Capitol for some shit that they believed in for somebody else they were behind. Just saying. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it was right. They ran up behind that. When's the last time you see people actually ran up on some shit that really, really, really they were willing to actually die for in our community? Really?
Yeah.
To be honest, it wasn't since what? Out in LA? Rodney King?
Rodney King.
Nah, they burned their whole goddamn city down.
Let's not get it twisted that the people that were storming the Capitol on the 6th, they weren't worried about dying. I got that part, but I'm you would think that in the Capitol, you would think they would have better security. But the whole point is they willing to
do go that far.
If
Now
you
we
want to
know
make a
how this can
reference
run.
towards that, probably the guy with the skateboard that got shot by the kid with the rifle.
Him too.
He was willing. They went up there to try to disarm that kid with that rifle.
Falling in the courtroom.
Right. So that's that. It's
y'all know what situation I was talking about. Yeah.
Yo, this the Hot Seat Podcast, man. Episode 100, man. Episode 100, man. We
y'all got deep for 100.
We did, man.
The big 100.
I didn't promise it was gonna be anything light. This is what we've been doing for the last 2+ years now, and you know this was gonna go this route. So I appreciate you guys coming through. But that being the case, it also allowed us to actually have different partnerships and stuff before we go into our next segment with different individuals. So we can't go any further without having one of our partners shout out to this. So we got a quick read from Dave. You ready?
Oh, damn. Yeah. All right. Man, you got me in a whole other mental space. I'm on my second drink. Let's
I know.
Go.
Oh, man. Look, oh, my God, man. Look,
don't worry. I'm not going to say D Wade. I'm not going to say D Wade.
Fair enough. You ready for
it? Let's go.
Yeah.
All
right, let's get
it. Let's face it. Things have changed. The way we move, the way we communicate, even the way we shop. Time is important. And what better way to save time than Instacart, the world's largest online grocery service? Forget that one ingredient for your special date night meal? Instacart can have it delivered to your door in as fast as 1 hour. You can shop multiple stores in your area, find deals to help you save money, and every item is hand-selected by shoppers based on their preferences. No more bruised bananas, and they'll keep your eggs safe too, and that's a real thing because eggs are very expensive. But let me get back to the script real quick. Just follow the link in the show notes to let Instacart know that the Hot Seat Podcast sent you. And get free, that's right, free, delivery on your first order over $35. Instacart, so you don't have to go to the store.
Hey, real quick.
One carton of eggs. That's your 35.
Yeah, let us not talk about eggs, really.
let me tell you something real quick. We had the conversation, my wife and I, about eggs. Do you realize that's more than what some people are getting paid an hour for a carton of eggs? Think about that next time you go grab them. Some people make less an hour.
$7.50 an hour. You paying $9 for a carton of eggs.
I just went out and bought a chicken.
Nah, word,
like, you know how much? I was just in Puerto Rico for the holidays. You know how much a carton of fucking eggs costs in Puerto Rico, bruh? God, we talking about upwards of like $12.
Shawn had to extend his vacation to pay it off.
I was there for the entire time. That's crazy, man. And I know, and appreciate our partners, man. Instacart. So any of their reps are listening to this or watching this, they be like, how the fuck we go from police brutality, y'all talking about Instacart and eggs? I don't know.
The Walmart around the corner got the eggs spider wrapped.
Yeah,
I believe it.
Shoot, Costco got the joint up there like you can only get one.
I don't even like eggs.
They got it
like
behind
this,
the register. Locked away like Similac.
I don't like Easter eggs. I don't like none of that shit. I don't even know.
So, eggs are expensive and you can't get baby formula.
I just made an egg sandwich for my son the other day, right? And this Negro had the audacity to talk about, I'm done. No, you ain't.
You gonna eat everything on this.
Earl was in there with a saran wrap talking about, we just gonna wait till you.
I'm petty as shit because I'm like, you know what? No worries. That's your lunch for tomorrow, bro.
Facts.
No, I feel you on that one, man.
You know what I'm saying? No. Until you finish that egg sandwich, bro.
Look, you got people out there. You got people out there that they out there being healthy and shit. They had a nerve to be like, I'm only gonna eat egg whites. No, bitch, you gonna eat the egg whites.
You getting all that.
You better cut that out.
All that.
Yeah, like that. So of course, the Hot Seat Podcast, man, we started this 2 years ago, 100 episodes ago, based off of we took our Xbox Live conversations over to the podcast world. We're gamers, so we gonna step right into that, and that's the reason why I have this man here, Webster Style, man, from the Sartorial and Greek podcast, and it's something that he and I kind of like had a quick conversation about. So we're gonna go into our video game corner. So we are something else. We'll be here because I know you guys play video games. I know y'all ignorant like the rest of us. So we it's video game corner. Let's go.
Real quick, Shawn. I don't want to take over your show. Real quick.
But you are.
But I'm a.
Just because you put our picture on your screen, that don't mean you can just be like, hey.
I mean, look, real quick. This is my salute to you. This is my salute to you. This is I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna watch the rest. Watch the rest from another end. But I wanted to share something with you fellas. I been inspired lately, so I wrote a poem and a toast in celebration of you guys.
Wait a minute.
Hold on, bro.
Before I do that, if we're gonna do a toast. So I can't go any further without doing this. So I'm gonna be toasting with nothing other than Terramana Blanco. Salute to the folks over at Terramana. Yeah, definitely gonna leave it at that. But you know,
I got you, bro.
But everything that's happening, and just wanted to write something, give you guys some inspiration tonight.
You about to spit, bro? Do I need to play a quick beat in this? I don't.
No.
I'm about to say I can plug.
Listen to the words. That's all you gotta do.
Spoken word, brother.
Ready?
You just snap at the end.
All right. It's a rare condition this day and age to read any good news on a newspaper page. And love and tradition of the grand design, some people say it's even harder to find. Well, there must be some magic clue inside these inner walls, because all I see is a tower of dreams.
Oh, man.
Real love bursting out of every seam. As days go by, we're going to fill our house with happiness. The moon may cry. We're going to smooth the blues of tenderness. When days go by, there's room for you, room for me, for gentle hearts and opportunity. As days go by, it's the bigger love of the family. Salute to you, bro.
Yeah, we got bars, bro.
Appreciate
it. Yo, my God.
Hey, Kaleo the candy dropper.
I appreciate. Yeah, we appreciate the shit out of y'all. Again, like I said, I remember when me and Kaleo had this conversation. Literally, we were working together and we were talking about he hadn't started We Are Something Else yet, and we were talking about this then. And talking about this was 3 years ago now. Yeah, I guess 3 years ago now. And to see how far we've come, and to be consistent. And if I had to guess, I will confidently say that what's happening for you guys trending up is the same thing that's trending up for us right now. And it's great to see. We don't have big marketing budgets and stuff like that, and it's all organic, and it's dope. Whether we got 5 people viewing something like that, but that's just on YouTube. When we doing podcasts, this podcast space is huge, 2.2 million podcasts, but there's only very, very few that are successful. And I'll probably say that both the Hot Seat podcast and the We Are Something Else podcast are both in the top 10% globally of all motherfucking podcasts on this goddamn planet.
Man, look, it's like Motown in this bitch. The lead singer is the secretary, the driver for the other person, seamstress, all in house.
I want to know what Diana Ross had.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate the shit out of y'all, man. We just this it's going up, bro. Like, we going up for the 2023, man. We consistent all year.
Congrats! I got a poem for you next time we're on your show.
Absolutely.
Oh, bro. Speaking of our show, February 2nd we returned. We took the whole month off. Haven't been seen since since New Year's Eve, but we'll be back February 2nd.
Hey, yo, I'm coming. Sure. You know what? Can I come back?
Come on through.
Because I need y'all go show shoes, right?
Hell yeah!
I got a whole crate of new shit.
No.
Hey, no. y'all gonna talk about the new D waves?
No, what?
You're not gonna talk about those?
Oh, no, what? No, what?
Listen.
Hold on, Earl. Hold on, Earl.
No.
Y'all not gonna talk about the new D waves though?
No.
Because they brand new, bro.
Listen.
No,
please don't talk sneakers.
If y'all haven't seen the pictures,
don't talk sneakers with these cats, yo. Yo, Eric wears Under Armour. Shawn, he wears Pumas and shit. Like, please, yo. I'm embarrassed.
Wait.
I'm embarrassed. How did I even get thrown into this from the start?
How you embarrassed?
He wears Chacletas.
How you embarrassed with my Pumas?
I'm embarrassed, right?
How you embarrassed my Pumas? How you embarrassed my Under Armour? But still, how did I get thrown into it?
It's embarrassing, yo.
See, I know Earl full of shit. Man. If Earl looked at my Puma closet, shit, I challenge anyone to look at my goddamn closet with Puma. Pick a pair.
It ain't gonna beat my Buster Browns.
Pick a pair. I got everything for
Buster
everything.
Brown's real.
You're not ready. I know there's Nike is the thing. Nike is a popular brand. I know that is what it is. But I guarantee you, you step up in this closet, this Puma collection. I'll see y'all on February 2nd?
Groundhog
Thursday.
Day. This Thursday.
I got some motherfucking shit. I'm telling you that right now.
9:30.
Let's
go.
go.
Don't represent us, yo. Just go ahead.
New D Wade, females, son. They out there.
You know what? We going to the video game corner. Let's get it, Webster style.
Basketball joints with heels.
We trying to make it past episode 100. I ain't messing with Dave. I am not messing with Dave. Yo, let's get it.
Boys.
So again, man, this show was founded on our Xbox Live conversations, and of course we're gamers. And something dropped in the last couple of days that it made you realize why you were a gamer.
Yes.
And it's this right here.
Oh yeah.
Hi-Fi Rush. Hi-Fi Rush is a combination of, correct me if I'm wrong, Webster Styles, Bethesda. What's the other companies involved?
Tango Gameworks
and everything else in between. It is a game that if you go back to your, I'll say probably your, I want to say when we, maybe if I'm going from the Sega side, Sega CD or something like that, maybe going up into like your Nintendo 64 or something like that. It takes you back to that.
Yes, it does. I like to say it's a combination of Jet Grind, Jet Set Radio Future, and Devil May Cry with the gameplay. It's
I felt Kingdom Hearts too.
Yes. Did I also get a touch of Rock Band out of this? Did y'all get that from there as well?
Well,
you do
that
the
beat.
That's you.
Yeah.
I discovered this game. Me and Dave were on Xbox a couple days ago, and we were just on there. And I was looking through. We always look through Xbox Game Pass. Last time we did this, it was that one game. I think it was like 12 hours or something. Dave, it was called something like that.
Yeah.
And this one I was looking at. I'm looking at Xbox Game Pass, and I was like, Hi-Fi Rush. Okay. So I watched the trailer, and I'm like, oh, this looks interesting.
Right.
But sometimes you got to be aware of the trailers. You see the trailer, and then you see the game, and you're like, nah. So I do that. I said, I'm gonna download it. I said, this looks interesting. So I download the game. Oh no, the trailer and the game are exactly the same.
Right.
And I only played it for like 3 hours. Only 3 hours. And I haven't played a game that has me excited as this did in a long time.
Listen, I had the whole family was down here in the basement while I was downloading it real quick. So I start to play it, and my son Cam takes the controller, and I never got it back. I'm watching him play, bro, and I was so amped up. You were amped up just watching it.
Yes.
Just the way it looks and plays. It's an amazing game. It's an amazing game. The replayability of that game, man.
It's up from the third person view. Then it switched to the side scroll 2D. I saw your review of it, Webster style, man. Just all the different properties on it.
It's amazing, man. It's really, like, I watched the developer showcase that morning or that afternoon, so that's when I saw it. And of everything I saw, like, that's the only thing that got me excited. And when they said it was dropping to that day, I'm like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, right.
So I'm like waiting. I was like, okay, is it drop? Like, download it. And then I started playing, and now I do the Sartorial Geek podcast. I also do the NRW checkpoint every week over at Nerds Rule the World. And my man and I, Brian Saff, when we talk about games, one of the things we always talk about is the lack of originality, because we get so many iterations on genres and sequels, and this game is like another game. And it is not very often that we get a plethora of games that are just really fun and unique. This is one of those games. I saw the trailer. I got excited. I started playing it. I was excited. It just sucks you in, and it's just so fun to play. And I think from a long-term perspective from Microsoft, outside of you got Gears, you got Halo, you got your heavy hitters that are multimedia properties, but they're very much skewed to mature audiences. They do not have any IP that skews to a family demographic. This is tailor-made for anime. This is tailor-made for Saturday morning cartoon series. Like this property has legs across multimedia. And I just hope Microsoft doesn't screw up with this, because right now there's nobody on the net that does not like this game.
Right. Absolutely. You know what they did with this, and I'm going through the settings. If y'all noticed, they know what they're doing. It actually gave you the part to be able to toggle off whether you're going to stream it or not.
Yes.
So you can like, if you're going to stream clips of it, you can turn it off, turn it on. And what it does is, if you want to stream the parts of the game, so it takes all the licensing bit out of it. So they know what they're doing, and they gave you something that's
in the colorblind joint.
Yes, exactly. That's what got me.
Colorblind
joint. Colorblind. I'm like, I'm partially colorblind.
Right.
This is beautiful.
And you see why for that game.
It's a lot of colors. And I ain't gonna lie to you, for a person that I suffer from, from motion sickness. I'm playing this game. I'm like, please God, let me enjoy this game. I'm all for it. I don't give a damn if I have to drama me or not. I'm playing the game, and it's just so much fun.
Not Call of Duty though.
Yeah, I'm playing because I'm playing Hi-Fi Rush. This is literally why you become a gamer.
Yeah,
like we have this is one of those ones that everybody can play and enjoy, and this is part of why I think Xbox, they acquired the different companies acquired that they did, because they're bringing it to that, and just the appreciation of the game. There was no load times, none of that stuff. It was just seamless. Just from what I played so far. I mean,
I'm on Xbox One, so I'm straight up cloud gaming since it's only Series S and X. I haven't upgraded yet, and that's one of the most beautiful things about Game Pass is I can stream all those quote unquote next gen games, and I don't got to upgrade my system. And the lag, let me tell you, the cloud gaming aspect of the Xbox is so smooth most of the time. Like
it's a computer, man. It's a computer.
Yeah. Even when I was playing this game, I had no kind of load times, no kind of stuttering, no frame drops. It was just flawless throughout my whole few hours the first time I played it. It is just it's a game, like you said, why people play video games. Like it really harkens back to that time, like especially, Dave, Eric, you remember, especially like when the Dreamcast came out and everybody's playing 2K. And,
I still have mine, by the way.
Say what?
I still have my Dreamcast, by the way. I still play it, by the way.
That came out. We opened the clusters, launch day, PS2s. Even before then, playing GoldenEye, which came out last week as well.
Yes.
Like that's all I've been doing this past week: GoldenEye and Hi-Fi Rush. That's pretty much it. But those games brought so much joy and excitement, and you guys get online, you guys talk, and guys play your Madden and whatnot, and MLB is show which just announced the cover athlete today. You guys get together, but everybody's so kind of siloed into their sort of what games they play. I don't feel as though there are a lot of games to just make people like in general excited, and this is something, at least being on the web, people are excited about this game. People are excited to play this game, and I don't see this with newer properties, new IPs. Like people are going.
Well, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah, people are going hog wild about Hogwarts Legacy, but again, that's an IP that everybody knows of, and that's why people are excited for it. This is brand new. This came out of nowhere, and people are just absolutely bonkers over it, and I absolutely love it.
But see, some of those games that even have the history to them, they're falling off. Like I was telling them the other day, I was like, bro, I don't need to see another Halo game. Like I'm just done. That Halo Infinite, I was There's certain games that just keep on coming out, and I'm just like, nah. Now I am waiting patiently for the Grand Theft. That'll never get old.
Before we get to that, we had a quick read from another our partners in this case.
There, make sure he's ready.
I got it. Let's go. So winter is actually here. And it's that time of the year where the weather has you second guessing day after day. Literally, it was like 60 degrees today. So the rain, the wind, the leaves, ice sometimes. Yes, it's all frustrating. All the things you want to protect your vehicle from, especially when indoor parking isn't really an option. So that's where cars.covers come in. With a database of over 150,000 vehicles to choose from, cars.covers.com has a cover for just about every vehicle on the road today. And did I mention they also have covers for jet skis and UTVs if you're down in those lower areas of the world? So why not enhance the lifespan of your vehicle and take advantage of the carcovers.com free shipping, guaranteed fit, and Platinum Shield lifetime warranty by clicking the link in the show notes below. So let them know that the Hot Seat podcast sent you. Carcovers.com. Protecting your vehicle is their number one priority. Yeah, I had to get that one in there. I had to get that one. Carcovers.com. Yes, Earl. Yes, they have them for the Mini. Thank you. Before you say something ignorant, they have them for the Mini Cooper. Thank you. The missus just before we go back to our video games, the missus said, "Babe, did you send see the link I sent you with the Audi?" I was like, here we go. So let's go. So we got Hi-Fi Rush, which we are very, very high on. But you mentioned a couple of other games. You mentioned a game that we were going to talk about as well. So as far as a Hogwarts Legacy game that's coming out, have you looked at it as well, Webster Style? Have you looked at the bit of that?
You know, the more I hear about it, the more excited I get about it.
You can kill people in this, apparently.
Yeah.
Just say it. Yes, you can.
Yes, you can. From what I hear, this
ain't Lego Harry Potter. So I'll let you
no. But it seems like it's a lot of what people want.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the big we all like Harry Potter. I wouldn't say I'm a humongous fan of Harry Potter.
I am. So let you know.
Okay. I'm not a humongous fan that'd be like, oh yeah, I want to play Hogwarts. Yeah. I don't know. I may check it out when it comes out on Xbox One later on this year, since it's coming out on current gen systems first. Personally speaking, there's only one game I'm looking forward to in the next couple months, and that's Star Trek Resurgence whenever that comes out.
Mm-hmm.
That's one game I'm buying day one. I think it comes out in April.
Okay. One thing that they did drop, something that I enjoyed playing, was the remake, the Dead Space remake that they're dropping.
Yes.
If you're into the, I don't know I guess you would classify this as the horror style.
Yeah, this is kind of survival horror.
Yeah, just be prepared. If you're a person that's around my age, if you've never played Resident Evil, you don't want to just dive into Dead Space, because this does get your goddamn blood pressure up really quickly. I'm gonna tell you that right now. A lot of stuff is happening in Dead Space, and that's actually dropping around January 27th. Another game that I'm glad they have continued on this trajectory. Big word for you again, Earl. Is the new Star Wars.
We got
Jedi
over under on that.
Which one? Yeah, right. Which one?
We can't tell you. We can't tell you what it is.
Don't worry about it. I got you.
Somebody make sure y'all keep.
I got you. The new Star Wars. The new Star Wars Survivor.
Nah, you got more than that. Go ahead.
Yeah. The new Star Wars Survivor, March 17th. Dave, what you got on that? Did you have a look at so far?
Which one? I'm sorry.
The Star Wars Survivors, March 17th. The new Star Wars joint.
That wasn't the one that I Was it the one? It might have been. Yeah, okay. March 17th.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. Yeah, so that one right there, I'm ready for that one.
Yeah, it looks sick.
Yeah, my thing is all about the gameplay,
right?
Because they could show me all these still shots and stuff like that. I'm just hoping the gameplay is as smooth as how everything is looking. Right. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so anything that they can put out there with a nice storyline, but sometimes like the gameplay falls off, especially with even not just Star Wars, but like some of the Marvel games that come out and some of the DC games that come out. Like I'm about to trade back in. What's that game we went and got? I don't even remember. What's the game we all got? Gotham Knights.
Gotham Knights.
Yeah, I'm good.
I wasn't high on that.
Yeah. Yeah,
after playing the Arkham series, that wasn't.
Yeah, it's not Arkham series. It's not Telltale. Yeah. So it's really the gameplay. Things can look real good, but I got to see how it is when you're actually playing. Yeah. So I'm just hoping it's straight. I know they're hitting it out the park with their regular series and stuff between Andor and stuff. So I'm hoping it just pushes into the gameplay. So we'll see. We'll see. But I am excited about that game. Yeah. That was one of the ones I put on the list.
Gotcha.
Make y'all mad?
What?
So like Star Wars, I know nothing about.
Right? You about to tell us something though?
No. Every time y'all talk about Star Wars, you know what I think of? I think of Spaceballs.
You know what? Which was a great movie, by the way.
Yeah,
but you know what?
So
you know what? You're on timeout. Timeout. Go find something to do in the kitchen.
So another game we got dropping out is Redfall. Redfall is a game.
I'm excited for that one.
Yes, and if you guys have played Deathloop, so Redfall comes actually from Arcane Studios, Austin, and it's published by Bethesda Studios. But if you played Deathloop, it's from the same makers, and this one here. I think Dave watched the trailer, and I was on the Xbox when we watched it, and all I heard was, "Oh shit! Oh!"
And the thing is, the characters were saying the same thing.
Yes, they were. But, Webster Style, what you got on Redfall, man?
Yeah, Redfall. It's interesting when they first put out that trailer back at E3. We didn't know what really to make of it, and I thought it was going to be like a Left 4 Dead sort of not clone, but with vampires. But now that we see more and more about it, that it's open world, that it has a lot of strategy to it, that there are different classes, I was thinking more like the old school Shadowfall or Shadowrun games with vampires. It seems like a whole mix of stuff, and I'm excited. This is, again, going back to new IPs, like I'm excited for this one. The only real vampire games that we've had in the past few years have been the Vampire Masquerade games. And again, they're not everybody's cup of tea because they're very simulation art. They're based on the RPG. So it's, they have a lot of those elements. And with something like this, you have the different vampires, you have the different classes of the humans, you have the save points as well. Because I was watching some of the developer videos the other day. It looks to be really fantastic. And they look to be, even though it's this very small island community of Redfall, as far as a game is concerned, it looks to be a very large gaming world to really run around in and go back and forth. And I think one of the things that really got me I thought was really cool, the vampire layers, when you go in and out of them, they keep changing because they're like multi-dimensional.
Right.
So it's never the same environment twice when you go in, and that adds so much replayability to a game like this. So I'm definitely excited for this one when it comes out.
Definitely, and that just drops on May 2nd. May is a big month. Go ahead, Dave.
Let me jump in there because he did bring up one thing as far as the E3. So let me throw this at you real quick. You heard the announcement about E3 for this year, right?
No, I didn't
know.
So they just announced that the big three, meaning Sony, Nintendo, Xbox, Microsoft, is not going to be there, and it's their first one in person in like 4 years because of COVID and everything.
What's the point?
I'm like, what are they going to talk about?
Right.
I'm just wondering because this is their big, hoopla about coming back together. It's kind of like how you're starting to see Comic-Con in a way, where Marvel's like, hey, we'll do a little bit there, but we're actually going to save this for Disney's event here. And DC is like, I'm going to save this for DC's when we take over that one day. And I'm like, man, are some of the big events not big events anymore?
It's starting to go that way. It's kind of starting to go that way, but you see that through a lot of the multi-vendor spaces.
And by the way, IGN announced that about two hours ago. So
okay.
Well, since you're talking about DC, the game that I'm looking forward to, and I saw this trailer last year, was Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League.
Yeah, that's sweet.
While we just said that Gotham Knights were meh, they weren't done by Rocksteady. Rocksteady Studios did the Arkham Knight series itself. So Rocksteady is in it. So I am all in for this. If you saw the trailer, I'll make sure I'm gonna have the link posted up for it. This drops May 26th. May is going to be a big month.
This comes out in May as well.
May 26th, yes.
Oh,
May is a big month. May,
yeah.
First of all, May is my birthday month. That's the month where I go see I used to see all the top stuff. Most of everything came out, Avengers, all that stuff came out in May. So this month, we got May 2nd. We got May Redfall. Then
May
we got Suicide
26th
Squad. May
was
26th.
Suicide.
It was Suicide Squad. So yeah, I'm gonna have a busy month. I ain't gonna lie to you. So yeah, it's if it has all the gameplay that it should have from Rocksteady, which they probably used the same platform as they used for the Arkham Knight series. Yeah, I'm all for it. It's definitely not from the actual Gotham Knights series they had going on. So the trailer is dope.
DC put out another Telltale series.
Yes, that was so good. That was so good. Have you played the Telltale series? What's your style? Have you played that?
I have not. I think,
oh my God, you're robbing yourself of greatness.
I feel like that I have. No, because I know, Microsoft, they gave you a bunch of the Telltale series when they went out of business. I think I have that in my queue for Xbox Live Gold, but I never played it.
You have to play it.
This is what you need to do. This is what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna tell you why you need to play it. So play the series, and when you find it, download it, whatever. Play the series. When you finish it, call or text me.
Come back on.
Okay.
We'll talk about it because
come back on.
Yes, because we're gonna talk about so much stuff after that. So we got Starfield coming out May 23rd. What you got? What's your word on Starfield, Dave, or web style? Or do you guys even know?
I'm not really big into the open RPG, so I'm kind of tepid on Starfield.
Role playing game for all you newbies out there. Go ahead.
And I I want to see more because I haven't seen enough to get me excited for it one way or another, personally speaking.
Right.
So I was never a Morrowind fan or Morrowind, Oblivion, that whole like Skyrim. I never got into those games, so I appreciate Bethesda's pedigree with those sort of games, but those are just something I never got into. So based on that, I'm not really like, yay, Starfield. But I haven't seen much of it to form an opinion whatsoever, personally speaking.
Gotcha. They just look beautiful. That's all I know. What you can actually, that's what makes me upset when you see those type of games, and then we play our sports games. I'm like, why can't our games look more realer? In this case,
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I apologize. Yes, Earl. Yes. I'm sorry. Continue.
Okay. So the final one, and this is one that I'm very passionate about since they did the first one, and you got Forza Motorsport coming out as well.
Yes.
If you play Forza Motorsport 5, and I think me and Dave played that a lot, that is Gran Turismo was the standard on PlayStation until Forza came out. Forza is the most beautiful racing game you could actually play with all of the cars and everything else in between. If you're not a car guy, it's not for you. But what you get out of Forza is second to nobody. What y'all got?
I mean, I tell you, I'm not a big car guy or car games. I like my arcade races probably more so than anything. So I definitely love Horizon 5, but because of Game Pass, I played Motorsports 5 and 6 quite often, and I've enjoyed every moment of it. I'm not a car guy, like I said, but it's a beautiful game. Like, you cannot deny how beautiful the Forza series is, and it's interesting. Like, I've had Xbox since 2002, and to see how that series has progressed since the 360 up until now is just like, it's absolutely amazing what they've done with their series and how robust of a series it is. And if you're not a car person like me, you can definitely enjoy the racing and the simulation of it. But if you are a car person and one of those people who want to get in and do all the deep dives and tweaking, then it's perfect for you as well. I haven't played Gran Turismo in a while, but I know people that play it. I know people that love it. And even from everything I see, not to be fanboys, it's really not a comparison.
It's not. It's not. They got a film coming out for Gran Turismo, but it's still Forza is beautiful. What you got, Dave?
Yeah, Forza is definitely on a different level than Gran Turismo.
There you go. See,
and then also, back in the day, it was all about Need for Speed. Now,
right?
So it's Forza Land now. Great game to play as far as the view of it. I still got the old Forza on there when nobody else is online. I can still rock on that. One of those type games. And all the extra things that you can do with the vehicles. That's what I love more than anything. You remember I would sit back and do things with my vehicle more than I raced, to be honest with you. So, yeah, it should be a good game. I'm just wondering, is that supposed to be Game Pass?
Dave,
Game Pass first party.
It'll be a Game Pass. They always do it on the Game Pass. It's just so it's that's their game. And you know what makes that game even better? If you're one of the ones who want to ante up, getting the actual driver's seat and the steering wheel and everything else, that makes the experience of Forza that much greater, because every vehicle actually, it's almost to what the driving style of it, the acceleration, the steering, all that's to it. So it actually comes back to what you use as far as your, if you're one of those guys who want to go out and, spend the money on the driver's seat and everything else, but it's still dope. Speaking of, is Cam using the steering wheel? Y'all been using the steering wheel or no?
Yeah, he has it up there. He's been using it, but now he's into his Sonic Frontiers and he got his new headphones. So
Sonic Frontiers looks great. That looks great, by the way. That game. I downloaded it and I haven't played it yet, but it looks great. I did a quick review a few months ago. It's Sonic is a thing, and of course we have the new Super Mario Brothers film coming out. In a month?
It's gonna be so much money. It's ridiculous.
Illumination is ridiculous. But that's our video game corner, man. I know Earl over here just making fun because he don't know. All he plays is basketball.
I don't know none of the shit that I was talking about.
See, how you be a video game person if you don't know the video game?
He know three games.
3 games, bro. 3 games. Madden, Call of Duty, and NBA, and 2K. That's it.
I'll say this from a serious standpoint, because we're different than what our OGs were, and because we're gamers now. Gaming, what we do is remembering and muscle memory and stuff like that. It will benefit us in such great ways as we get older.
Stop, because
no.
This shit, that's what I'm saying. Yo, stop with this shit, yo. Listen,
oh my god!
I think that you was talking about.
Oh my god!
NBA 2K. He's talking about we were all star. Talking about
I just like it so much.
I just like through the whole corner.
I just like it so much. It's one of those things.
Making this shit up, yo.
Oh my god, I'm not.
Man.
Oh my god, I dislike you so much right now. It's one of those things where you have different generations, like different generations where they have like whatever those little like the word search and stuff like that. Stuff for our generation. For them, it'll be video gaming and stuff like that. So it's like muscle memory. You talking about like mental stimulation, stuff like that. Whether you're playing stuff like that. So that's all.
Real quick, I know where you go with yours.
Yeah,
but while we got Eldon on here, Mr. UMES.
Yep.
Let me throw this out there. You know what I mean? Got to throw this out there before we get off. I know we were talking about sports and stuff. We can't get through sports without talking about UMES basketball.
Absolutely.
They are undefeated at home. Yep. I don't remember the last time I could talk about UMES basketball at all. They are undefeated. They are leading the MEAC.
UMES, all right. I never went there. UMES basketball.
University of Maryland Eastern Shore. HBCU.
I thought they were tied. I thought they were tied on the
MEAC. Let me
check. They're half a game up right now because they just beat Morgan, which was actually the only other team in the MEAC that was undefeated at home. They just beat Morgan. The score was 72-58.
Damn.
Morgan in Morgan. So now they're
mind you, they all. Who else did they upset? What was it? Temple. They beat.
I
Temple.
did hear about that one.
Wow.
So let's give respect. I know we were talking about all these other teams. We definitely got to go back to UMES and say that. I was telling Eric this. I said this would be the time that they will be winning, and we don't have homecoming in February.
Right.
So we can go
right.
So them basketball games used to be the spot for meeting up Where you going after this? You know what I'm saying?
That was it.
Now people going to the games and paying attention now.
Yeah. Yep.
Damn.
So everybody out there on the Eastern Shore, Princess Anne, Salisbury area, whole Delmarva area and stuff, start filling up these seats, man.
Oh yeah,
I might drive out there, man.
I hope they get. To be honest, man, I hope they get the same. I hope they get the same. I didn't go to UMS.
Yeah, you went to IDTC.
Why'd you do that to yourself? We could have ended it right there.
Shut your ass up. So
why did you do that?
It's fine. It's fine. I hope they get. I hope they go. I hope they have the same. I hope they have the same. Shut your ass up. I hope they have the same success as when Norfolk State went on their run, when Hampton University went on their run, and even George Mason wasn't but George Mason went on this. I hope they go on that same type of run, even if they
need a BCU George Mason run, just entered into a conversation with the ECU teams.
So what?
How did that just happen?
No. What I'm saying is I hope they go on that same type of run to where they get into that tournament and they get that same type of attention because it's gonna be it's always dope to see, man, when you have schools that when they go and compete with the schools that are a little bit more well funded. If you want, I'll be kindly when I say that. And then
we don't want to go into that Maryland system stuff.
Right.
Did your school have a basketball team?
I don't know, but I don't know why you go on that route. I'm just saying, I'm just supporting teams. Goddamn, Ed Reed, shut the fuck up. God damn. Jesus Christ. I'm trying to support the team. You the one like this building has trash in it. We know they just had a goddamn hurricane. Shut the fuck up. God. I'm trying to be nice.
Going down. Hey, real home.
Oh man. Hey, Webster Style, man. Hey, what else you got going on, man? Before for all of our viewers and our listeners. If you have not followed Webster Style on Instagram, and I meant to send this to you the other day, especially if you're a gentleman and you're looking for, I guess this used to be something that was really prevalent to the OGs, cologne wise. So every time I'm seeing there's a different cologne that you popping, and I'm like, I forgot about it. Some of the stuff I know, some of the stuff I don't. So what do you have next? What do you have this have you ever thought about doing a whole, I guess I don't know, you want to call it an entire expose of just scents for the gentleman. Tell the folks what you got out there, man.
Well, I'm getting more and more into long form video with YouTube, so I've got a couple things that are there. Some things that make me feel like summer, some black-owned fragrance companies, just a lot of sort of cut and paste from things I've done on Instagram. So I'm experimenting more and more with long form formats, theme-wise as far as YouTube, but I have so much video to edit from the car show and Exotica last in December. I'm trying to edit that into a longer form video outside of those things. But right now it's pretty much a lot of themes. I'm doing different themes as far as the weeks are concerned and translating a lot of that into YouTube. So stuff for black tie, stuff for the office, I'll be doing stuff like that. But I'm trying to just do a little bit different because if you look at other fragrance reviewers, they always have top 10 this, top 10 that. I try to be a little bit different with how I do things compared to somebody else, simply because I want to be different and I want to stand out. And a lot of even Webster Style in general is very much about redefining a definition. So it's not just the fragrance, this is also style, it's also gaming, it's also pretty much what our passions are in general. And that's, how we always innovate as well as far as what our passions are. So with that, you can catch me every week on the Sartorial Geek podcast by Webster Style. Episode 141 just dropped today on all podcasting platforms. You can catch me also every week at Nerds Rule the World with the NRW checkpoint, where myself and Brian Saff talk about the week's releases in gaming. And also starting last week, you can catch me every week with Kuya P and Shawn Mangold for the Kayfabe Baby, the Ring General NRW Wrestling Podcast, which will be dropping sometime every week as well.
I got look. You said I gotta get in on that. The wrestling podcast. Did you watch Royal Rumble this past Saturday night?
Yes,
okay,
I did.
We got to talk about that, and I'm going to talk about the fact that what do you have in your ear right now? I'm looking at it right now. What do you have in your ears right now? I'm looking at the earbuds. What do you have right now?
Oh, they're something from Dollar General or Dollar Tree.
Okay,
there you go.
I gotta hook you up with something.
Conversation.
I gotta hook you up with something else. I gotta get you something better than that.
Oh no, I have a couple other things, but these were handy, and I got the big mic here. So
first of all, I like the bag in the bag. I like the bag. I like the bag.
Review for free.
Yeah, we can talk about that. One thing I wanted to ask though,
yes, sir,
because I watched the different scents, and I always thought this was something that I always marveled at people who did this. When you do your review of scents, where did that come from? Like when I'm listening to you and you be like, I'm going with XYZ scent by XYZ company, and this has a sense of flavors of we're talking about turmeric, and we're talking about it's everything, man. And I'm like, where did that come from?
By accident, really. For me, back in 2017, I think it was, I got a one of those Gentleman Box subscriptions, and it had
Stetson in it.
No, it had English Laundry. Oxford Blue Fight English Laundry.
Okay.
And you've had colognes before in the past, but you kind of just wear them. You don't really, use them as utility. I wore that one and became hooked. And that's what really started me on my journey. So I started buying more from that house English Laundry, and then I expanded to others, and then I started watching fragrance reviewers. So a lot of it was just learning from experiencing different fragrances, researching to see what things smelled like. Other part of it was actually learning from other people and watching their reviews, and see how they distinguished with each one of the fragrances and the notes. But one of the things I always say is that fragrances are very personal. They're very intimate. It may smell good on you, it may smell good on me, but it's never going to smell the same, and we're always going to have a different reaction with it, as far as I'm concerned. So it's that's why I try to go from a very, not just is this note and that note. I go for a lot of what I'm feeling like, what I want to smell like, what sort of mood either I want to feel like or what I want to project. And based on my own opinion, I will maybe grab something that projects something, or I think will fit for a certain occasion. Like there are some fragrances that some guys on the net, well, guys and girls will say, hey, use this one for this one. This is for the office. This is for the office. I'm like, I'm gonna wear what I want when I want. If I think it fits, I'll make it fit. If I think it's too overpowering, then like I'm not wearing this one. Like it was heavily musky, I'm like, that may not be the one for the office. Or black tie event, but it may be something just to wear out and about or something like that. It all depends, but a lot of it's just trial and error and just learning on my part.
Let me ask you a quick question about colognes.
Before you say Earl, we'll talk about this one, the Red Cuba. If you know what I'm talking about, the Red Cuba.
I got that one too.
We'll talk about that. Yeah. We'll talk about it soon.
I feel like that's the one that like damn near everybody had.
The Red Cuba joint.
Yeah,
the red and the gold.
And the gold one
got me on with Cuba.
Yep. But like so and it's funny because Cuba, like I actually like that one because it wasn't that strong. It didn't have like that cologne, because I don't like I feel like colognes are a lot of the general ones are kind of like just overly strong, and it's sometimes you want like a softer scent. But if I had to ask you, what's one of your favorite brands?
I would go to Zaharoff.
Okay.
They are a kind of
exotic.
A niche indie brand out of Chicago. Actually, this is the diagram for the bottle for their initial launch signature for home. It's a great, it's called a fougere, so it's like a barbershop scent, but it has lavender, oud. It's crazy because I had a 60 ml bottle, and I killed that in a year because it's so good and it's so light and fresh and smooth. Like I said, I could literally take a shower in it.
What's the name of it again?
Zaharoff.
Okay.
Yeah.
And have you ever, in my last, my bad, because I need to talk to somebody who actually knows about it. Have you ever had Bond 9 or tried Bond 9?
That I have not tried.
Okay. Bleecker Street. That one in particular, I was
I've heard about it, heard good things. Just there's so many fragrances, there's so many I just haven't had a chance to try yet.
Got you. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah. No. I was just kind of leading to that way. Like I'm not even a real name brand guy with a lot of stuff, actually. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm sorry. Webster style. What cologne did the ladies to drop them panties? Look, before you go, I'm gonna show you the combination that I found in this case, because a lot of our cologne that we wear is considered in a lot of cases is strong. It's really, it has a really prevalent.
You better answer this joint.
It's fine.
Right.
So this is what I've done. So this is something that I've mastered over the last my adult life.
Mm-hmm.
So at one point in time, before I realized I had eczema, I used to wear like the body washes and shit from like Bed Bath and Beyond. Not Bed Bath and Beyond, Bath and Body Works. I'm sorry. So I don't do that anymore. But the body sprays is something I still rock with. So what I've done over the years is I've combined different body sprays with said colognes. So sometimes you may get a cologne that, even like my Red Cuba there, that may be, to some, is a little bit strong. If I actually use something like a peach body wash or something like that first, sprayed it on first, and then the actual cologne on top of that, it gives this mixture that I will not lie to you. At work, elevator, something like that. What are you wearing? What are you wearing?
Don't do it. See,
I'm just saying, what are you wearing?
To save you before you end this.
What are you wearing? And I'm telling you right now, though, Kaleo,
nothing happens at work. Nothing happens at work.
I'm just saying to your point.
Nothing
to your point. So like sometimes for women, they like, some of them may like that musky smell. Let me know if I'm wrong, on Webster style, but something they like that more subtle. It's like they don't want to be like hit with it. They want to be kind of drawn in. So they smell that sweet smell, and then they hit that masculine smell on the backside, and it gives you a great combination of the two. I've been doing it for the last 10 years of my life.
Well,
and,
let me tell you this. Let me say, every woman is different.
True.
My spouse can't stand musk or anything she thinks is musk. So
there you go.
But surprisingly, when I was at Exotica and I was interviewing, in some of my interviews, a lot of the women said they like musk, and some of them like musk, like body musk. I'm like, that was surprising because I don't hear that too often.
First of all, run that back. When you say Exotica, let these folks know what we talking about, because they may not know.
Oh, I saw the videos.
Yeah, I did too. I knew. One of the interviews, I was like, oh,
I saw his interviews at Exotica.
Facts on everything.
Wait till episode 150.
Facts on everything.
So now I want to know.
There you go.
So
I don't want to say what I think it is. So
it's what you think it is.
Exotica is a convention for adult entertainment.
Oh, okay. Okay. They be having that in New Jersey.
Facts.
Yeah, exactly.
Earl, not Earl.
Yeah.
So I'm here by myself right
now. So I would say, Earl, if you're looking for something lighter, especially something that's not going to be too expensive, 3M by Shawn John. The smell is great. It's light. It doesn't last super duper long, but you can get it pretty inexpensively at like a Marshall's, TJ Maxx, or Burlington. You can probably get a larger bottle for maybe under $30. That's a good deal as far as I'm concerned, especially looking for something lighter. It's fresh and a little bit sweet as well. As far as the panty dropper question, now, I would say my wife is not the best when it comes for. My wife is particular. I love her. So there are specific fragrances that when I wear them for the first time, is etched in here when she has a reaction. And there's one fragrance that I recommend to any and every guy, because it's just, first of all, I love black-owned brands. Second of all, like, this is one I will always keep in my collection, and that is Ovation for Men. It is just a banger. It really is, and too bad they're out of stock at the moment, but it's one I literally recommend to everybody. If there's two fragrances I'm recommending you getting, Ovation and Zaharoff, you can't go wrong. And also, I think also I'm kind of biased because I've had conversation with both the owners over the past couple of years, and they're both really great guys. Zaharoff isn't black owned, but George Zaharoff has been in the game for a very long time. He has a great story, and he has just a great passion for the business and a great passion for fragrance enthusiasts as well. And Shawn Crenshaw, who's with Ovation, I just love his spirit. I love his hustle, and I just love his perspective. And it's all about class, especially black man class and black male style with how they're positioning Ovation. And that's a brand I got to get behind, just because that really speaks to me and who I am.
When will we get a Webster style scent though? That's a question.
We're making one.
Yeah, you know it is. When will we in a Webster style scent?
I don't know. I've had maybe not conversations, but there are some just ideas I've kicked around with some people. So that may be in the works down the line. I got a couple other projects I've been sitting on too long. I need to get finished first before I even get to that. But I've made some good connections and met some really good people. That's definitely a possibility in the future.
We make sure we get that exclusive. We all that about that now.
Definitely.
What else y'all got, man? Before we get out here tonight, we kept you guys for the last 2 hours or so for the 100th episode of the now ever popular Hot Seat Podcast.
The Big 100.
We're on our way up, man. It's been a great night so far. What else y'all got for tonight? We can't. One thing we can't get out here without some not so breaking news, though. We cannot absolutely, positively cannot get out here with some not so breaking news. Eric, Dave, you got one?
Yeah, but before that, not so breaking news, real quick, Kaleo, for that panty drop. I heard D Wade has this.
Oh my God!
I know it comes in the perfume line.
My God!
I don't know about the cologne line. I'll check. But, all right, let me digress.
Oh God!
Hit me with the not so breaking.
I will tell you,
trying to go to one. We got to try to go to episode 200, man. What's your not so breaking news? You ready?
Hold on.
D Wade gonna buy out.
I will tell you. I'm sorry.
You
what?
can buy us out. Shit.
Right.
Yeah. The Russell Wilson fragrances aren't bad at all. Okay. Since we're talking about sports people.
I didn't even know he had a cologne.
Yeah, him and Sierra got their own interchanging line of kind of male female fragrances.
It don't smell like the Erykah Badu incense, do it?
I don't believe so. No.
Okay,
you know who else? You know who else they said smelled pretty good? I heard they got a cologne line. They said I think Rihanna. They said
I've heard hers as well.
You know what smell good though? You ever walk past a person who barbecuing and they get in? That should smell good too.
Yeah, so, put Kaleo's message up there. Put Kaleo's comment up there. We need to answer to this.
D Wade also serves.
Shut up.
Oh my God.
Hey yo, wrap this up, man.
It's interchangeable, son. It's interchangeable.
You gotta wrap it up, Shawn. You gotta wrap it up, bro.
I just want to go home.
Go ahead. Not so breaking news.
Let's get some not so breaking news, man. Let's get it.
Not so breaking news.
So in case y'all didn't know, of course everybody does know. You see all the biopics they've been hitting recently, as far as like the Elvis movie that came out, Bohemian Rhapsody for Queen, Rocket Man for Elton John. So now, in case you didn't know, they are already working on the biopic for Michael Jackson.
Okay, let's
start. God.
So it's coming. I believe it's going to be called Michael. And the person that is playing Michael is actually his nephew. Let me see if I even have a
That's one of Tito and them
Jafar Jackson is actually going to be playing Michael Jackson. So I'm trying to see first off how far they're gonna go.
I think so.
Yeah, you can look it up, Jafar Jackson.
Well, at least it's in the family. I respect that
But yeah, I want to see where the storyline goes, because there's a lot of places that you can go and maybe not go with Mike.
Well,
how do you feel about the biopic for him?
I think I do like the fact that it's somebody in the family, so it's going to be some authentic. I can't say it.
We got you.
And now they didn't like him. When he got popular, they didn't like him.
What you mean?
His brothers?
They didn't like who? Michael?
Mike. Yeah.
Yes, they did. What are you talking about?
All right. So you know what? This is why reading is fundamental.
No. Let's not do that. Let's not do that.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
Let's
so
not.
Yeah, there was a big rift between them two. So
between what two? You said
between his brothers and Mike. Once he
you
became,
just said them two. So you talking about
you have two sides. You have two sides. You have his brothers, and then you have Mike.
Okay, go pull that true.
But just to let you know, the person that's directing it, I don't want to get the last name wrong. I think it's Antoine Fuqua. And then also,
God, can we get a black person?
And then also co-produced by the gentleman that did Bohemian Rhapsody.
Was that a joke?
Can we get Michael B. Jordan?
No, he was there, sir.
And somebody else do it? I don't know.
No.
That's fine.
So that's what's going on.
I don't know.
Yeah, he directed Training Day.
Yeah, what are you talking about, bro?
Who? I ain't say nothing about it.
No, Shawn.
You missed with Shawn.
Oh, okay.
But you know what? To be perfectly fair, like Michael Jackson is one of those individuals, man, that he's like he completely eclipses like everything else. So it depends on the view of whoever's doing it. They're going to present him in a certain light.
Right.
I think they're going to go deep because of who did. If the person from Bohemian Rhapsody is involved,
I get that part.
If you haven't seen that, they went deep on Queens.
But you know what? Here, I'll say
also. Anybody see Whitney yet?
No, but I heard. I kind of want to see it though.
She sang. She did heroin. She died.
Don't do that.
Stop. Yeah, you know what? This what we doing? This what we doing? And you mad at my D Wade comment?
No.
What I didn't like about that was
time out.
No, before you say
no.
What I didn't like, I didn't like back in the day. Well, I guess not too far back, where they kind of like threw all of that onto Bobby Brown. Which come to find out that Bobby wasn't the real issue to that situation. But
so let me throw this at the fellas to clean it up.
Hold on,
real quick. Go ahead.
Real quick before that. Don't disrespect Whitney. I know people in her family. She's from North New Jersey. Don't disrespect her. She had an issue.
Here we go.
Just like we all do.
So real quick, fellas, this is for everybody out there.
Here we go.
Give me a person that you wouldn't mind, music-wise. We'll keep it in music. Seeing a biopic for.
It depends on who doing it. Like I need them to do it right. I mean, y'all know who I'm.
If they did it right, who would you say? You gonna say?
I'm gonna say Stevie Wonder, but they better do it right. They better do it right.
Who y'all got?
DMX.
DMX would be dope as shit. That would be dope.
Yeah.
And I actually, if they did DMX, I don't want to see him the rapper. I want to see him the child leading up into him getting into stardom. That's kind of where I would want to start it from, or kind of where the meat of it would be.
Right. To be honest, somebody, because you know more about one than the other, I would actually want to see, and he's from the producer side, and I know this is maybe sound hometown. I would actually want to see I would actually want to see Timbaland. I know. Think about it, because I know more about Pharrell than you legitimately know about Timbaland. You know about him, about Missy and Magoo, but you know more about Pharrell and the Neptunes than you really do know about Timbaland. So I would like to know about him in that case. That's just me.
Kaleo, man. Oh, jeez. He's shining.
Oh, my God.
Kaleo shining tonight, sir.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Facts on everything, son. Facts. That's why it's like, that's the thing. Like, okay. All right. Well, they might have looked like them before the whole surgery and everything. So it's actually.
But you know what? Going back to like why I think like a family member might be good though, because if you think about it, they're gonna give you an aspect that the world really don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna give you intimate stories that the world doesn't know. Only people within his family know. So that's why, like, even if they don't say how deep can they go, I feel like it don't have to be as deep in terms of what we already know.
And I'm glad you said that.
It could be from other elements that we don't know about. Like
I'm glad you said that, because one of the best documentaries I told y'all before that I've seen is one of my most favorite artists of all time, which was Bob Marley. And if you haven't seen his documentary Marley, the difference between that documentary and all the other ones is that the family and friends put that together.
No, this is not to be funny.
They already had that.
R. Kelly document. No.
They already had
a legit. We laugh about it. R. Kelly document. I legit R. Kelly document.
You say it's about R. Kelly's not legit?
No, I'm not talking about the shit that they did on everything else. That everybody was like, I will watch it. I will watch it, because you have. What we got presented with was we got
plenty of chapters of Trapped in the Closet too.
Yeah,
right. Listen, but somebody who couldn't read
bio.
No, but see, here's the thing though, it's hilarious now. But what happened is now to if you actually look at it, if you actually look at it, man, a lot of people profited off of the genius of R. Kelly.
Look, so if you take away all R. Kelly bio episode,
this is one that I would that would be enjoyable to me personally, because if you strip away all the other stuff on there,
who you will get to play him?
Flex.
They're the worst. Flex. What is it? Flex. What is Flex's name?
You know what? Oh no, let Leon play, because he play other.
He does play Leon play every goddamn body. Yeah.
Oh man.
He played everybody, but anybody who wanted to come.
Who was yours, Eric?
What's that?
Your biopic.
Who would you get?
No, I said Prince.
You said Prince.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, Kaleo said the same thing. Kaleo said the same thing.
But who would play Prince?
Justin Bieber. Some ignorant shit like that.
Stop.
That's what they do, though, man. That's what they do. They give like the ignorant ass person. They be like,
"Don't do that, bro.
Come on." You know what? Right. You know what? That does segue right into your last thing.
Right. It does, man. So we're going to our last thing here, and so it's become this more popular thing that I guess is hot popular right now, to where people who have enjoyed a certain amount of success, they decided, you know what, I'm just gonna sell all this shit off. The highest bidder. So the most recent thing that I saw, and Dave put me on some other folks, Justin Bieber actually sold his entire music catalog for what, 200 million?
200 million.
Yeah. And I don't even know what this means. I don't even know. You have him. He put me on to John Legend. Haven't done it. I know that that
John Legend did it for a certain amount of time. So his catalog that he sold off stops at 2020. So anything pretty much he's releasing now, is still here.
What was the old girl doing? I hate to say white girl, but it is what it is. Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift did it. No. Actually, she just
Iggy Azalea.
Iggy Azalea. I'm sorry. Yeah, Iggy Azalea did it, but
and she still got 8 figures. Iggy.
Right. I don't know.
That was smart on her part.
I know 2 songs.
Right.
I don't know what the fuck. What does she sell?
I'm gonna flip it on you though, because I'm gonna go back to something that was on. They just had them on. Well, maybe not just had them on. Drink Champs. Did you see the one with Nas?
Yes.
And they went to him about artists he never got to record with,
right?
And stories about it. And he brought up a conversation that he had with Prince. If you saw,
oh yeah, I saw that.
Right. Yeah. And he said he sat back and was trying to kick it with Prince, talking about, yeah, we should do a song together and everything like that. And Prince basically looked him right in his face and was just like, hey, you on your masters?
Right.
And he was like, huh? And he's like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Right. If you ain't on that level, then we ain't talking. Because if you know Prince's story, which is another thing that would go into like his biopic, you know, he didn't just write Slave and everything on the side of his how'd he do it? Yeah. He won his masters. He wanted his ownership. Right. So you see people doing it. Jay-Z has his. I'm trying to think of other people that went. Who went? Was it Chance the Rapper helped? Who was it? Anita Baker?
Yeah,
Anita Baker get her masters. It's a big thing, man. So some people are playing the short game of getting the big lump sum payout. But for
Dr.
these
J
other
did
big businesses coming in and saying, I'm going to throw 200, 300, 400 million at you as a lump sum, there's a reason why they're doing that.
Right.
They're not doing it to go under. They're doing it because they know through things being put on a commercial, things being put in a movie, things being used in another song, any type of thing. They're getting paid off of it. And they're like, okay, you take that because I'm going to get it back in whatever amount of years. And then some, and then some, and then some. So yeah, it's a big thing that's going on now. Now you see some of the artists trying to get a little bit wiser, kind of like the LeBron effect with it. Right. How LeBron does the year-to-year type contracts. They're doing song for song. Like, here, you could take this song from my catalog for 40 or 50 million. That's what I think Beyonce did that. I think Rihanna did some of that. So you just got to look at how they're doing it because, Bruce Springsteen, the boss, he sold his catalog for 500 million. He's the biggest one I've seen that did it.
Yeah, I'm saying right now, I'm just selling my catalog for a Tesla. That's all I'm doing. I'm just saying that right now. Dead ass. So
right now, that Tesla is 20% down on its profit.
I'll just let you know. If you see you driving a Tesla, mind your goddamn business. I sold my whole goddamn catalog for just like this is right now. So Earl, shut your goddamn mouth. Let me enjoy my Tesla. Thank you very much. I appreciate your life. It's what's crazy about this though. And I don't know if it really means anything, but I saw more white artists doing this than actual black artists. I don't know what that means. I don't really know what that means. Yep. Yeah, I really don't know what that means. I guess part of it means that you actually have something that you can that's worth of value, if nothing else, which kind of throws into conversation what the hell did Iggy Azalea have to sell. Because I really don't only know 2 songs of hers. I literally do.
Justin did his for 200 million. He didn't even go back into the group stuff.
That's Justin Bieber. Oh, you mean Justin Timberlake? I'm sorry.
No, Timberlake. He didn't even go back into the group stuff.
But that throws into place. What the hell? Whatever. What the hell did Iggy Azalea sell? I literally don't know what she sold to get. I don't.
Well, think about it this way. It's not about the artist itself, it's about the songs. And a lot of the earlier stuff,
yeah, true. Like I should know this. Yeah.
It has utilization in a lot of different mediums. And I think this is what whomever purchases what they're looking for. Not so much the artist, but her songs.
Right.
And her songs, even some of the more recent stuff, they fit a certain sort of, I wouldn't say genre, but a vibe.
Like porn,
which could translate well into movies and things of that nature. But I found it interesting. You were talking about licensing the song. I saw, and I forget who was interviewing T.I., where he was talking about that very subject because they asked him about that, and he said that he's not up on and selling his catalog, but he will be up to licensing like for X amount of years or something of that effect. And that's what I don't understand, especially for like a Justin Bieber. Or some of the younger artists. I can understand the older artists doing that,
right? Because they just want it in,
right. There's like, look, they ain't gonna be that much longer, okay? But someone like a Bieber, like Bieber's really young. I just feel like he's losing out on money by selling it for $200,000. Like, is Bieber even 30 yet?
Yeah, but I think he was a different age category to now this new generation. They don't really know Justin Bieber like those who were prior to us. Like,
they said that the main change in people doing the catalogs was COVID.
That too,
because when COVID hit, if you don't know artists' real pay, it doesn't come from really album sales. It comes from them touring and stuff like that. And they didn't want to feel like they felt the last 2, 3, 4 years where their money was gone. So they sat back and they were just like, hey, I'm gonna do this, sell this much off to get this amount because I can live off of this. Now, like I said, the flip side is, don't think that these investors are just throwing a number out there. They did their due diligence. They know when they're getting their money back. There you go. They know when they're getting their money back. We were just talking about gaming. You don't even realize how many different songs are pulled into that.
Yeah,
we played 2K. We played Hi-Fi. Think about all these games.
We were literally just talking about Hi-Fi Rush, and there's songs that they are license free. So if you post them via your streaming category, you don't have to worry about your streaming post getting taken down, something like that. So they own the rights to a lot of the music. There's original content on that, which is
everywhere, man.
Yeah, so it's
using anybody's song, just one little piece of it. Doesn't have to be the whole song, one little piece of it. You know, I go back to the whole thing with Beyonce, and when she was doing her album, and who was that? That was Khalees that tried to get on her, and she was like, "I worked out a deal for you to get paid, but since you opened your mouth, you know what? I'm just gonna take it out. My album's still gonna be fine. My song is still gonna be fine." It's those type of things that people don't realize when they're working out these contracts, how they're being paid.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, teach their own, but don't think that these people are throwing out the number of 200, 300, 400, 500 million, and they're not getting it back in X amount of years. And they're not thinking that way. So
I can't even. I'm to be very honest. I am jealous in all type of ways. You know, I get a royalty check of like $27. I'm like, this is great. And then these motherfuckers sell like 200 million. I'm like, the fuck am I doing? Who? What? Okay, all right. We'll keep it off that, man. That's fine. But yeah, that's the new wave right now. And again, like that pandemic has flipped things on his head, man. We didn't done not so breaking news. We didn't got everything else. Anything else y'all got tonight, man, before we get out of here, man? It's been a great 100th episode. Again, like we're approaching shit now. I looked at the numbers the other day. We're approaching 6,000 downloads, man. It's been fun. But again,
the big 100.
It's been great to see. I love seeing all the different podcasts.
We just got a new one in, by the way. Almost 200 for the week.
See, I love it. I love it. And it was so dope about this because now, prior to 2020, I listened to a couple of podcasts, but not as much as I listen to now. So, of course, I'm listening to the Sartorial and Greek podcast, and it takes me down the rabbit hole for here. I listen to Hours. I'm listening to We Are Something Else. I'm listening to Babani Jones, the Big Boy. I'm listening to everything. And there's so much creativity out there, man, for everybody. And then all I can say is I appreciate our supporters, man, for Buzzsprout and really hosting our shows and allowing us to create something that's been as grand as it's been. And for everybody who's tapped in for all 100 episodes. Next thing we have coming up is more episodes. And then our next big thing we have coming up is our annual NFL draft podcast show, which we do live, which if you haven't seen it before, it's an event to say the least. We do all 4 or 5 hours straight of that. But this has been great. Just one, meeting people like Webster Style, but more important, not more important, but even more so, these three gentlemen, with Earl, Eric, and Dave, man, have helped me realize a vision to create something that people actually tune into all across the world at this point, and it's dope. I literally look at this and I have a sense of pride. And when people ask me, they be like, what's the name of your podcast? It's the Hot Seat. No, motherfucker, it's the Hot Seat Podcast. Like, I get defensive because that's what we do. Like, our creative juices go behind that. And he said, what do you guys do? And I'm like, yeah, I'll put us next to any podcast on this planet, dead ass. And we will debate. We will talk about everything. Take out all of the extra stuff that people do with post-production and what you should say. We unfiltered. We unfiltered. We unfiltered. And this is why we have great guests like Webster Style, like We Are Something Else. Like, if I can name everybody, like Pavar Snipe, I talked to her. She can be what's name that she's doing. Shout out to her, Pavar. She's out in San Francisco doing a comedy festival. Nice. Shout out to Wiz Buchanan, man. He's out doing this thing there from the legendary Buchanans who did
Bo last name.
What more can I say? Bo last name Dacious. Asia Hemingway, out to Nikki
Bryant, Ray Farmer,
Nikki Goins, who gave us our first on location show, man. Out to Rob, who gave us our next on location out there to the barber spa. Everybody who has been involved with the to All Black Everything series, from Dr. Chike Akua to Jeff Granger to who's your guy Christian. It's so many people, man. We've had so many people.
Christian Sims,
even to our young folks, man. Goddamn, Shawn, last name. Why Dana? Don't kill me. Don't kill me. Shawn, what's Shawn's last name?
What are you doing?
Dana. What's Shawn's last name? Shawn. Dana Rivera. Shawn's last name is what?
I can't even.
He's our family, man.
No,
Deshaun. He's asking Deshaun.
Deshaun Naylor. My bad.
I'm sorry.
I didn't know what you were talking about.
Yeah, he was one of our first young folks on there with us, man, for All Black Everything. It's
Offspring.
so many people.
Offspring Clothing.
Yeah, from Cub & Co. is our sponsor, man. Like I said, for All Black Everything. It's so many people, man, who have supported us for these last 2 years. And when I say that we on, and my little bro came in, man, my youngest brother, man, Cedric Hines, man, I support. I got two brothers, stuff on to Cedric, and I say Cedric has listened to every damn episode. And when I say, hey, yo, he will say, yo, when is episode 100 come out? He asking. And then, of course, anybody who we talk to ahead of that, he's like, hey, when is Webster Style doing his? He's tapped into it, man. And I appreciate the love, the family atmosphere. Yo, it's the Hot Seat Podcast, yo. So, of course, before we get out of here, you can find me on Xbox because I'm playing Hi-Fi Rush. And I'm playing Pac-Man, and I'm playing whatever the hell else Xbox give me, man, at Sanaa 2X on Xbox Live, man. Find me there. We can talk about it. Webster Style. Plug your gamer tag, bro.
You can find me on Xbox at Hawks2, and that's HAWKES2.
Is Hi-Fi Rush 2-player at some point or no?
Just one, I believe.
It's one because I know because there's a part of it I saw in the trailer where you have him and the young ladies in the game.
I saw that too. Yeah.
So I hope they eat up. And I'm still playing. Damn, what's the game that I've been playing for like the last few years, and they keep adding stuff to it that everybody thought was real bad. I'll get back to it in a minute.
Sea of Thieves?
No, the other one. I think Dave knows what I'm talking about. The one that has Keanu Reeves in it.
I forgot the name.
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk. It's gotten even better and better and better. Best believe it. What you got, Dave?
The storyteller. No game and stuff. Just D-Wade holla at me.
Oh my god. Earl, what you got, man?
NJ Fatboy 973. That's it.
Eric, what you got, bro?
Flatline 09. Go out there, get your soaps from over in the terminal from the Messy Buddha.
Yeah, there you go.
You want to get from my LB Mike Waller. He'll hook you up with anything that you want.
Yes.
For the record, Earl, he's under. Shawn is under.
No, we'll talk about it afterwards.
Dave, do you agree?
I agree.
We can run this back.
He was under.
We can run this back.
Oh my god, I just like him so much, man. Again, man, we appreciate you guys, man, tapping in with us for the Hot Seat Podcast. Again, man, I appreciate these brothers, man. More than they know. Maybe they do know it. I don't know. We'll be back next week with episode 101. This Wednesday. This is everything is an offshoot of everything else. You can tap in with me on Wednesday for Over the Hump.
Let's go,
the Hump, man, on AMP Radio. Or now that I found out they say on Alexa, they say Over the Hump. Just listen to Over the Hump on AMP.
Say Shawn Xavier.
Oh, yeah, that's
on
AMP. And we tapping this week, man. It's all about the Dirty South. So we keep it going, man. This is a big collective of content that we put together for the last 2 years. And at this point, man, with everything is going on in this world, man, I only ask that our folks, we support each other. Support us, Webster Style. I mean, he giving you the great sense. The brother has it in his bag. We're gonna do more collaboration.
I'll be waiting for the exotic episode.
Absolutely. I watched a couple of them, and I was like, okay, we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna get with you. So we can talk about some. We can talk about some.
If you need any help editing,
Yeah.
Mr. Hawk Pride, 1999, 2000.
Fact. We'll talk about some wrestling stuff that's coming up, man. Now, I hope you guys enjoy. Oh, for us. So as of right now,
2000
in play. So of course,
I'm sorry.
Podcast. Of course, we do football talk. So as of right now, on the plate right now, we will be doing, unless anything changes, we will be doing a pre-Super Bowl show February 12th. We will be doing a pre-Super Bowl show. We're gonna be lit. It's gonna be fun. And then, you know, what happened is then next time you'll see us, as far as on the football side, will be our draft show in April. But the podcast will be back next week. We're gonna be adding guests this week. Now we'll be going to be doing our live shows here on YouTube and Twitch. We appreciate all you guys again. Just run it up. It's about to get crazy. Shout out again to my great folks over at Terramana. It's official. Shout out to those guys, man. It's been a great 2 years. So we're gonna keep running this shit up, man. It's a Hot Seat Podcast, bro. Yo, we out.